The Horrible Gamers podcast may contain content not suitable for all ages. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Horrible Gamers podcast, show number 450, being recorded on February the 26th, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Jesus Gonzalez, also known as Jesus Boxer. Today I'm joined by my friend from the West Coast, the best coast, Gunny Chief Henley Mayo is here. Welcome back, Henley. Welcome.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Jesus. Hey, Mayo.
Hey.
Howdy.
Glad to be here.
Welcome to the show. And from Little Ohio, the Mayo, Steve Willier is back. Welcome back, Steve. Welcome.
Yeah, little, huh?
It's little big, but it's little. So, yeah. That's exactly. I know what I said, motherfucker, you. I know what I said. Yeah. Anyways, welcome. Welcome, Steve. How you doing?
Good.
Good. All right, well, that's good. Anyways, you can follow us on Twitter at _horriblegamers. Leave us a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts if you choose to use that platform. Find us on Spotify, shares with your friends. Also, you can find us on any other podcast platform. And if we're not on the platform of your choice, just reach out to us. And I'll make sure to get us on there.
We'll make it happen.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're on everything, man. 10 years, 10 years doing this shit. We know what the fuck we're doing, okay? We are pretty much everywhere, okay? We're everywhere. Everywhere, Mayo. All right?
Even in
Anyways,
little old Ohio.
We're everywhere. Yeah, we're fucking everywhere. We've been banned from countries and continents, but we're good. We're still going strong. I don't know how, but a few years ago, was it like back in like 2015 or 2016 or something? I got an email that we got banned was it in Antarctica or whatever?
In Antarctica? So Santa Claus can't listen? What's going on?
We got banned. I don't know how we got banned there, but we did. I don't know if we like offended a scientist or something that was down there. I don't know, but we got banned, and it said that our podcast would not be allowed to be played in that continent. I was like, well, okay. Well, shit. I mean,
probably salty they can't play all the games down there.
Yeah, they probably didn't have
online.
They probably didn't have internet, and it was probably when the Xbox One was doing the whole being connected all the time shit. I don't know, man. All I know is I got an email one day and it said you've been banned from this continent. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Okay.
Hey, what did you say, Jesus? I want to know what it was.
I don't know. They didn't tell me what it was. They didn't say what it was. They just said you've been banned and like, fuck you, man. You've been banned. Good luck.
Now we got Elon's satellites in space, right? Now they can't protest it. Can't stop us.
Can't stop us now.
Got Starlink.
Anyways, big shout out to all the community out there who listens and the people that support us with the money, like our friends on patreon.com/horriblegamers. The big money maker machines here. Leahy, Big Leahy, thank you, Big Leahy. Big Jason Sams, Big Robert Noble, Big Chad, Big Henley, Big Pork Chop Poo, Big Nipron, Big HGP Best Host Ever, Big Evan, Big Daddy Tanaka, that's two bigs in his name, and Big Bill Gardner II of his name. Yeah, that's right. Big to all of them. Shout out to all of them. Thank you guys for supporting the show with the Patreon machine monies. Keeps the show going. And ad-free. And I'm sorry if I make like weird pauses. It's just that my ear is fucking killing me, man. And it's such a distraction because it's like, so you can tell I'm only wearing one earphone.
Yes, we can tell. We can tell.
My fucking ear, man, it has like an infection and it's fucked up, dude. Like it's fucked up, man. I don't know. Like,
I went to the doctor. I'm glad you're on because I wasn't sure because I saw yesterday we were talking. I know you had the ear infection. And you know what, man? If he needs to take it off, he needs heal up. But you're here, so
I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm doing it. Yeah, no, man. It fucking sucks though. It hurts. Ear infections are bad. Like I think the last time I had one was probably a few years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't too long. I remember you having them. Yeah.
It cleared up pretty fast though. It cleared up like in a day or two. This one though, man, this one has been going since like Friday morning. So it's like not wanting to clear up on its own. And it's just gotten progressively worse and worse and worse in the last 3 days. So I ended up going to the urgent care yesterday morning. And it took the doctor about 2 minutes to realize what the fuck was wrong with me. She like looked at my ear and she's like, "Oh," she's like, "Yeah, your ear is pretty red and it's pretty swollen. I can't even look in there." She's like, "Let me try the baby size, like the little baby size thing to look into your ear." And then she tried that and she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Your eardrum looks kind of okay. It doesn't look infected, but definitely your whole ear canal, it's swollen up, like it's swollen shut. That's where you can't hear." And I was like, "Oh." And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm gonna give you some eardrops." She's like, "Just try to put these in like 4 times a day, and then try to do it for like a week, and hopefully it'll clear up." But those eardrops, man, I feel like they made it worse.
Making it
before-
My
worse.
wife says that, Jesus. She gets the outer ear infections too. So she
Like
does say that about
before-
the drops.
Before it like was painful, but I could kind of hear, and now it's like clogged, painful, and I can't really hear. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Are they working? Does that mean they're working? I think that might mean they're working. I don't know.
Hopefully.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
Antibiotics, it's going to take time.
Yeah, I don't know how I got an ear infection though. I know my girlfriend has had one for like about a week. But see, the difference between me and her is I actually go to the doctor. She don't want to go to the doctor.
That's usually the
I'm
other
like,
way around, isn't it? Isn't that usually the
Yeah.
girls the ones that go to the doctors, or the dumb ones that
No,
don't?
man, I don't
You
fuck
have some
around with
natural
that
herbs
shit,
going
dude.
on.
Listen,
Some-
man, I learned my lesson in the past. There's been like 2 or 3 times where I refused to go to the doctor and I end up almost dying. So I kind of learned my lesson from that, and I was like, any little thing that goes wrong with me, I'm going to the doctor, Mayo. I don't fucking care, dude. I got insurance, man. I'm going to the fucking doctor, okay, Mayo?
Yeah,
I don't
that's what you
care.
pay for, right?
yeah, it's paid for, right? I mean, you're paying for it.
Yeah, I'm paying for it, but I mean, the insurance covers like 90% of it. So I'm like,
I mean,
I don't
paying for the
fucking care,
insurance, so you
dude.
might
Like,
as well use it. I mean,
yeah, I'm like, yeah, and ain't no way, dude. Like, go to the doctor. If you have insurance, go to the doctor. Now, if you don't have insurance, well, then, yeah, I could see why you wouldn't go to the doctor. It's shit just expensive. So, yeah, but hopefully this shit clears up. I'm hoping by today, tomorrow morning, I feel like way better. I'm thinking today is just kind of like the worst of it because it's like kind of like the first full day I've been putting eardrops in. So it's kind of like maybe like really fighting my ear or something. I don't know, man. Fucked up though, man. Ear infections suck. You know, it was crazy though, right? The craziest part of this whole story of this ear infection scandal is that while I was at the urgent care, 2 people showed up at the urgent care with ear problems. 2 people showed up, not together. They were separate. 2 different people showed up at the same time, and they also had like an ear infection problem thing going on.
Ear, nose, and throat. Is this related to like some kind of, cold flu thing going on?
Is it COVID? What's going on here? Is it the
Could be the
COVID
Rona
vaccine?
again, coming back
Did
with a new strain.
Holy shit! I know what it was. It was the AT&T 5G.
yeah, there you go.
It went down and
the
it
hack,
fucked us
right?
all up. Yeah, they fucked us all up. Our ears are fucked up because of this AT&T 5G. Holy shit! I just figured it out, Gunny. I have
That was-
AT&T.
Yeah, that happened on Tuesday, right? That set it off. Because I remember, because I had to call in for work, and I call into security to call in any items short. I ended up getting payroll. What the hell, man? What's going on?
Yeah, man.
These
AT&T
Chinese
went
hackers had
down.
me routed
Listen.
all over the place.
AT&T went down the other day around the country. It wasn't just like one part of the country. It was like the entire country, Mayo. All right. I'm talking like New York City went down, Atlanta, somewhere in the Midwest, like maybe Chicago. I know LA went down and San Francisco went down. I think parts of Oregon went down too. And like the whole network was down. It wasn't just like, oh, like we're like having outages here and there. Like you could still text and like maybe you can't use your internet, but you can still text people and shit. No, man, like I'm talking everything was down, man. Like you could not text, you couldn't
Yeah,
fucking
everybody
do
was getting
anything.
the SOS.
Yeah, all you had was the SOS thing on your phone, like where it connects to satellite. and that's it. Like your phone had no service at all whatsoever, dude. And it was crazy because people were like, "What the fuck? You couldn't even call 911 if you had an
Oh wow.
emergency and you had your phone. It wouldn't even be able to connect to 911 unless you lined up with satellite. So you had to be outside in the clear view of the sky to line up your phone with the satellite to be able to make a 911 call. And the problem was that it didn't just affect like people, like it also affected like emergency responders, because you know what the emergency responders used as a network? They all used like AT&T. It's called something else. It's called like First Responder Net or some shit like that. But AT&T has the contract for that for like the entire country for like for like
Yeah,
medics
like the
and
biggest
police.
network, I think.
It's for like medics, police, and firemen and shit to be able to communicate on their own like network or whatever. They used an AT&T service. So some of them were saying that they were having issues communicating with each other. Like they couldn't communicate with each other. What the fuck was going on? Because the network was down. That's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, did
Like,
they ever say what it was, Jesus? Did they ever
no,
say? I never
they
followed up on
never
it.
said. They never said what it was. They never said like, oh, we thought it was this, or we thought it was a hack, or we thought it was some fucking angry employee shut it down. They never said what it was.
I think it was solar flares, man.
You think it was the solar flares?
Could have been. There's
It
some of
could
those
have
weird
been.
channels I follow on YouTube that are like, "Do you see the corona with the mass injection?" Blah blah. I don't know. So who knows really? Like, I guess that would affect satellites, right? And satellites talk to the ground towers.
Maybe. I don't know, man. It was just weird though. It's conspiracy. Conspiracy. What do you think it was now?
Oh man, I don't know. I was like you said. I think maybe China over there, shutting us down, testing their stuff.
Oh,
Attack AT&T over here.
think it was the Russians.
Yeah,
Could have been the
Could
Russians.
be Russians.
The Russians trying to test their shit.
No, I think
What if all
Canadians did it.
along?
Have we
What
had
if all
any? Have we had
along?
any spy balloons recently? Didn't I see something about there was like
Oh,
I
a
think there
spy
was
balloon
one this
again?
week, right?
Recently, yeah, there was a spy balloon.
another spy
Yeah,
balloon. They keep sending their spy balloons over here. Oh, sorry guys, it was just the weather balloon. It went off course again.
yeah. All of a sudden, we have no
Oh,
AT&T.
these silly weather balloons just keep floating over there. We don't know how to control them, guys. Sorry.
They are tricky. They do.
Yeah.
They're
To follow
scrambling
the
signals the whole time going through our country.
Yeah, that's crazy though. But stay safe out there, people. And yeah, that was kind of scary though. It really was like it's kind of like an eye opener, man, because that was just one network. Can you imagine if all the networks went down? If all the cell phone networks went down in the country at once?
Yeah, could you imagine how different it would be?
How many people? How many people wouldn't have access to their phone to be able to communicate with nobody? It would be fucked up.
Yeah. So Jesus, I was talking to the wife yesterday and she said that, like, I think we were just coming back from our other place and I was like, "Oh, when did you get your first cell phone, your first flip phone, or whatever?" And then she was like, "Yeah, when I was 18." And I was like, "Okay." So, and I said, she goes, "Yeah, I didn't have the home phone either." Right. So I'm like,
What?
"Well, how did people get a hold of you?" She goes, "They didn't." I was like, maybe that was, I don't know if that was a good time or not, where, you didn't have that phone constantly with you. Of course, there was
Yeah, I
no
remember.
internet back then when she was 18, but
I remember as a kid, we always
well,
had
there
a home
was, but
phone
there
or
wasn't.
whatever. Remember, we always had a home phone, and then we had the caller ID thing or whatever. Then we had a cell phone, and then back then, I think my mom had one of those Nokias. Those like little fucking Nokias, the little
Yeah,
brick
those were
ones.
popular. We had them at work.
Yeah, I think it was probably through AT&T, probably, but it was like a little Nokia. And I remember they were around for a while, or maybe it was through Sprint. I know we had home service through Sprint because we used to go to the Sprint store,
Yeah,
and then
yeah, we
Sprint
had it through
store. Sprint had like it was crazy, man, because we'd go to the Sprint store, and the Sprint store used to be huge, right? And there used to be like all these displays, and instead of being like, you know how nowadays you walk into like a cell phone store, it's all displays of cell phones. Well, back then they were displaying house phones, and they would have like different house phones, different models. Some of them would have like the caller ID little screen on them. Then sometimes they would just sell you the caller ID screen you could hook up to your phone.
Remember those? Yep.
You know,
Right.
remember-
Jesus, we ever lose all of our stuff. You know who's going to save us, right?
Cool.
The Amish. I just went and seen. We went to Amish country today, and they're prepared. They're used to not having all that
Are
stuff.
they
You think
ready?
so?
Are they ready out
They're
there? How
ready.
far
They're
are they
ready.
from you?
It took us about an hour and a half to go to Amish country.
Yeah.
Seen a
Did
bunch
you get
of
some
horse and
fresh milk?
buggies.
Fresh cow
No,
milk?
no milk. We bought some cheese, some homemade cheese.
They make
today.
some good pies too.
Yeah.
Because I
You
know
went
when I
out
used to
and
go
found
out to
some
New Jersey.
Amish people.
Yes, we got to pass. I had the Camaro, so like loud V8 Camaro, and then like going around
You
horse
tell
and
them how
buggies.
they
going
ask you
around.
how many horses are in your Camaro. Sir, sir,
Yeah.
how many horses is in them there carriage right there? How many horses?
Yeah.
That
Mhm.
contraption you got.
All 500 plus of them.
I got 5 horses on my carriage. How many horses you got in yours, sir?
The thing you actually seen the most, it was kind of unique. I guess you wouldn't think about it, but it makes sense, is when we were in town, there's like a town, right, where they bring a lot of their stuff in to sell it. So there's there's markets and stuff in this town. And a lot of the Amish were coming in and out of the town on bicycles. And I'm assuming that's their quicker. It had little baskets on the side, and they were just pedaling bikes. Like we were like on the outside edge of
Coming in
town,
like
and
the
they were on.
1950s or
Yeah,
60s.
and I guess that makes sense. I guess if you don't want to bring the horse and buggy out, like you can just ride the bike to town, but it's just one
Yeah.
person. But yeah, there's a lot of bicycles moving around, and then I probably seen 30 horse and buggies today, probably a couple of them on the road. But yeah, they're
I got a
prepared.
question though.
They're ready for this.
Though. Where do they get the bicycles from? Do they get them donated or do they go buy them?
I don't know. I'm gonna assume they buy them from someone because they all look pretty much alike. You know
But
what I
aren't
mean?
they
They get
not-
the money
aren't
from
they-
the stuff that they sell, right? They
Yeah,
probably just
but-
deal in cash mostly. I would
Aren't they not
assume.
allowed to not like fuck with technology?
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I
they're
mean,
they're allowed to go to the stores.
I mean, they
buy
had
stuff?
rubber like wheels and all that kind of stuff, So I don't know. But
Yeah,
where did they
are
get their horse and
bicycles
buggies?
technology, though?
Can
Where'd they get their
okay,
buggies?
Are they allowed to go down to the gas station and buy themselves a Mountain Dew and some Doritos for a good night of some
I have no idea.
of some Amish Halo? Okay, are they allowed to do that?
I have no idea. I mean, we were
Can they get nachos or beer?
we stopped
Yeah,
at
can they get a Game Boy or something?
maybe. It's not till their parents.
They can hide
we
it,
did
right?
stop at
Under
in the town there. I mean, it was kind of a
Hell
mix.
no.
It had they had these shops where you could buy stuff, and they had like old school stuff, and they had like Amish furniture and stuff. But we stopped at a coffee shop right there, and there was an Amish girl I think working in there because she had the little hat and everything on. And when we were leaving, she went out the side door, and she jumped on a bike and was pedaling off. I don't know if she was like just delivering some stuff or what she was doing, but it was there
living
behind
like
the
Little House
counter.
on the Prairie out there.
Yeah,
How
it
nice.
was interesting.
Crazy.
It's pretty neat.
So Mayo, if you ever, you probably know this, Mayo, but maybe the rest of our listeners don't, because I know when I lived in New Jersey for a little bit as a kid, and I've gone back several times after that, and same thing applies with Ohio and Pennsylvania, because I was just right across the water from there in Jersey. But I've seen them in New York. I've seen them out there. They drive a van out there, sell their stuff. But if anybody ever sees them, who they think is an Amish, like riding on airplanes and driving cars, they're actually Mennonites.
Yes, we do have Mennonites out here. I actually had a Mennonite school teacher actually.
Yeah.
So
So
So what's
dress
the
the same
difference?
way.
What's
They just
the
believe in
difference?
technology.
they
Mennonites
use
actually
technology.
use tech.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a
Fancy.
history teacher who was a Mennonite.
Yeah,
And we did
I had
see
Mom had a friend who was a Mennonite.
we see Mennonite churches and stuff as we were driving. Like you would see the signs and it'd say
So them,
such and such
them
Mennonite
Mennonites
church.
probably pull up. They probably pull up in their Camaros next to the Amish.
They're the
Like,
middlemen.
"Hey, what's up, fuckers?
They're
Look
the
how many
middlemen.
horses I got. Yeah. And the other people, they're on their bicycles like, oh, man.
Right? Pedaling
Oh,
away.
man. I
Well,
wish
he's gotta
we
be a
were.
fucking
I
Mennonite,
wish
huh?
we could use
That son of a
cars.
I wonder if they think, like in my situation, like, I'm sure they have to be aware of things, but like, if they see like my Camaro compared to like a regular car, like, do they know the difference between like, that's a
'cause
sportier
they don't
car
have TV
and
or
more
internet,
and more
man.
powerful? Like, I bet they
They
figure it out
probably think yours is a piece of shit compared to a minivan because it can't
it's
fit
loud
as many people.
and it's loud.
Yeah.
This
That
one's
carriage
loud.
sounds loud and it can only fit 2 people in it. That carriage sucks.
Yeah, it's got thoroughbreds carrying it.
They see some like beat up ass
Hey,
fucking
as
Econoline van or whatever.
naive as I am, I could tell the difference between some of their carriages. There was one that was coming at us, and it had a windshield on it, where other ones didn't. And I'm like, oh, look at them!
Ooh.
They got a windshield on that one. Like I don't know if it's
They're
plastic
the rich
or
Like
glass
Amish.
or what, but I'm like, look at these guys. They got like weather protection.
They got like little little fucking lanterns on their fucking carriage.
Yeah,
It
it's funny
looks like
because
the
they got
fucking
little.
it looks like the Wells Fargo carriage going down the street.
Because they have little mirrors that stick out the side of them too. So when you come up behind them, it's like they kind of pull off to the side, so you can kind of get around them. It's like a no passing area because you can pretty much can go around them because they only go about 5 miles an hour. You get kind of trotting along, but you just kind of just go around them. But I was trying to be easy going around them because again, the car's kind of loud, so I didn't want to like scare the horse or spook a horse. I'm sure they're probably used to it. I'm sure they're probably used to the
rev
vehicles
your
and all
car
that stuff.
really loud next to them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And hit the horn
I'm
at the
scared.
same time.
I'm scared people that way. Like I've gotten on a highway where like, you turn on the highway and there's a car like beside you and like stick my foot in it. I've seen people like swerve their car already just from like not expecting my car to be loud and getting on it, So I can imagine it would scare a horse for sure. They're bucking carriages. Horses are there flipping over their carriage.
They'll call you that. They'll fucking have like a fucking ATV out on your ass. They'll be looking for you and shit.
Yeah.
Get that son bitch next time you see him. The guy on
Amish
the white carriage.
The Amish will. They'll be drawing pictures of the car and sending it to each other.
So white carriage. Oh shit. Yeah, man. Anyways, well, that's enough Amish talk. We're here to talk about video game shit. A big shout out to Phantom Egg for the intro music to the show and Broke for Free for the outro music to the podcast. And I'm talking about what we've been playing this week, and pretty much I've only been playing 2 games, kind of. First game, real quick, I want to touch on Call of Duty. I haven't played much of it, so there's that. But I did play. But I did play a new game.
Oh,
and
yes.
It's probably not what you were expecting. This game just came out recently. It came out on early access. It's called News Tower. So it's kind of an interesting little game. It's a management business simulator like light. I want to say it's almost akin to like a almost Tiny Tower on your phone or whatever, something like that. I would compare it to something like that kind of, but a little bit more in depth. So pretty much where you start off as you're like in the 1930 maybe or 1929, and that's the year you start off in, and you start off with the newspaper company, and you can either start off with the tutorial where it kind of starts you off with the building that's kind of pre-set up a little bit, or you can start off with nothing where like you just start a new game with like skip the tutorial and you kind of start from the beginning. Anyways, what you do is you build the tower out. So you buy floors, and the floors cost so much money. And then you start building like the reporter's desk, and then the typewriter's desk, and then the what, I forget what they're called. They're called the
News
types. Director? No, they're called typesetters. So there's typesetters, and then there's something else like page, something to do. So there's the guys the reporters, right? They go and report, then they come back and give it to these other guys. And these other guys, no, they're not editors. These other guys kind of like print the story out, and then they send it off to these other guys, and these other guys kind of like print the story out to fit on a page or whatever, to fit in a section, like an article of a page. And then you have like the printing machine. Then you have like the people on the telegraph stations that they're like, beep, 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 beep. They're fucking getting the news from around the world or whatever. And they're the ones where that are getting the stories where you send your reporters to. But everything's on a timer kind of. So you have a week. Every week starts off on a Sunday or whatever, or Monday. And it goes all the way through Sunday. And by Sunday, you have to have your stories reported and like printed out or whatever and ready to be on a page, and you have to put them on a page and print them out to be sold, right? And then they get sold, and then based on like how good the story was written or like how many types of a certain story you have, it kind of gives you a little boost. So if you have 2 political stories, it gives you like a little boost. If you have 3 political stories, it gives you more of a boost. If you have a political story, a sports story, and a crime story, it gives you a different kind of boost. So it gives you a boost depending on the different types of stories you set on your page. And then you can also expand to have like a machine that can print out 2 pages or 3 pages or 4 pages. Problem with that is the more pages you have, the more stories your reporters need to get done before the end of the week so it can go out. Now, if you have like a 2-page newspaper, you can, in fact, like say if you got new stories, you put them on your front page, but you got older stories that were from last week that didn't get done in time, but they got done this week. You can stick those stories on the newspaper themselves too, but they kind of give you like a negative. It'll be like this is old news, so like you can still print it, but it's going to be considered old news, and it kind of makes a negative, like it takes a negative hit on your sales or whatever. So you kind of don't want to, you won't want to really print old stories on your newspaper, but it's a very cool little game. The
Is it
problem I
on
have with
mobile?
it,
Is it on mobile or
no. It's early access only on Steam. And the problem that I have with this game though is that the fact that it is a like a business simulator type managing fucking game, but it doesn't let you really manage a business because it doesn't let me adjust prices. It doesn't let me like lower my newspaper to 5 cents or make it $1 or make it 30 cents or 40 cents or 50 cents. It just stays at the same price, which is 20 cents all the time. And then the problem that I also have with it is that like the people in your work environment or whatever in your tower, they'll have like comfort meters or whatever. And sometimes they'll start getting depressed or whatever for some fucking reason. I can't really figure it out. Because I've tried to put like plants and drawings and shit on the walls, and like I put doors to isolate noise coming into the room or whatever where they're at, and it doesn't seem to work very well. I mean, these guys just keep getting depressed, and then they end up getting like really sad for some reason. They're like, and then you click on them and you can see their status, and it'll be like, oh, I'm really uncomfortable where I work. But in my opinion, I'm like, I can't fucking move you anywhere, dude. There's no room to move you around in this tower. Like, this is your position. This is what you do for work. But they're all depressed, and then they start getting sloppy. And then the stories start becoming like sloppy stories or whatever. Like, it'll say on your thing, like, this story is complete, but it's been fucked up because
They're not
the
as thorough
reporter,
or something, right?
yeah, the reporter was fucking half asleep reporting or something. Like, he was depressed or something. Or the fucking guy who was printing it fucking sucks and he was all sad and he fucked them all up.
Tide went
So
on
like
good the night
the
before?
problem with that is that when that happens, like your newspaper takes a hit. So it's been multiple times now where I restarted the game on a new game. I try to set up my tower as efficiently as I thought I could, and I always end up going bankrupt within like 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks because I can't keep up. Like I can't keep up with enough reporters to have enough stories out to print enough things to be able to make enough money. Um, so I'm trying to figure out the meta of the game. Like, what the fuck is like the point? I don't know. Like, what's a good balance? Because there's also like little side things that happen when you go to stories. Like sometimes you go to a story and there's like a little thing that pops up and there's like a little arrow and there's 3 different sections and it'll go back and forth and it'll land on a section. And then one section will be like, oh, you get 10 protesters. The other section will be like, oh, you get 5 protesters. And the other section will be like, you get no protesters. So when that happens, if you get 10 protesters, what happens is a little bus pulls up in front of your fucking tower and 10 people jump out of the bus with like fucking signs and shit. And they're like, fuck you, you fucking suck, you fucking bad newspaper. And then what ends up happening
Fake
there
news.
is, yeah. And then what ends up happening there is your reporters, if they're doing a story out like in LA or San Francisco or Seattle or Portland, and they go back to the tower with the story, they can't get into the building as long as the protesters are outside. They can't get back into the building to deliver the story to be printed. So then you got to hire a security guard. Then the security guard has to escort the protesters one by one away from the building. And then sometimes also what happens is you'll go do like a crime story, and it'll be like the mafia killed somebody, right? And then it'll be like, okay, like now the little thing pops up and it'll be like a little meter that goes back and forth, and it'll be like, 4 mobsters show up to your tower, 2 mobsters show up to your tower, or no mobsters show up to your tower. And then if 4 mobsters show up, what happens is a little car pulls up, 4 guys jump out of it, and they go into your tower with baseball bats. And they start fucking beating. They start beating everybody up and breaking all your shit. Like they start breaking all your. They start breaking all your fucking like all your tools that you have, right? Like the desk and shit that the people use to make the stories and shit. They start breaking everything, and if you don't have security, then they just go until they want to leave. So they could just destroy your whole business, or they'll just destroy the bottom floor or something and then leave. But if you have a security guard, he'll go down there and fight them and then beat them up, and then it'll kind of help reset everything. But that's the type of issues that pop up when you're reporting stories. It's not just about reporting the stories and getting the stories. It's about having to like deal with this shit when it pops up. The problem with those things though, like with the protesters and the mafia, and I think the other one is lawsuits. You can get sued by people. Like if you report a story, sometimes they'll hire a lawyer and they'll like put 4 lawsuits against you, or 2, or none, or whatever. And the problem with those is that like it's just based on random chance. It's not based on like how good your reporter is. It's not based on like any equipment you have. I don't know if it is or not, because I haven't really figured that part out yet. But I'm thinking it isn't. I'm thinking it's random.
So that is the meta, right? Like it's just super random, huh? Doesn't matter how good you are at the game.
And it fucks you up, man, because you'll be doing really good. Then all of a sudden you're hit with 4 lawsuits. And then that's $1,000 that disappears from your account by the end of the week if you don't have a lawyer. So you have to hire like a lawyer to have a desk in your building. And then this lawyer deals with the lawsuits one by one. And then hopefully by the end of the week, he's dealt with all of them. And you don't have to pay the fine. But if you don't have that, then guess what? Then you're fucked. And then you have to pay this big fine.
So you said you don't have control over the money, but is there a budget? Like it shows on there, like how much you pay per rent?
Oh yeah.
Each reporter or employee.
Yep. So every week, at the end of the week, when you run your newspaper, it'll print out, and it'll say you sold 20,000 copies of your paper, and then it'll be like with 20,000 copies, you made, I don't know, $2,000, right? Out of the $2,000, you have to pay $900 for your reporters and your employees. And then minus like 200 in lawsuits, minus whatever else you have in expenses. And then whatever's left is left for you to use during the week. And then that's how it goes. The problem is though, it's not a lot of money, man. Because like if you run out of paper, then your reporters can't report because they have no paper. Or your printing machine can't print newspapers because there's no paper. So you have to buy paper and order paper. And you have to order food to like fill up the water coolers and shit for the people to be like satisfied or whatever, right? So they like don't starve and die or whatever at work, I guess. And so yeah, I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure out this game.
It kind of reminds me of like a tycoon game, like the video game Tycoon. You know,
that's what a little bit.
You like don't have exact say of like the pricing of like your game. You can do like little aspects of it. You know, like you can choose like you can do like an RPG or a racing game, and then that type of game. So you don't have every say in everything, but you have like a little bit of say. And then in that game too, you own the company, and then you like, you pay your developer this much money, your writer this much money.
And I know that as the game continues, because I've seen people post about it on the Steam discussion, the forum or whatever. People say the game does continue on, like it is relevantly, like it stays relevant to the times, like it does, like the more the time continues on. So say you reach the year 1940, then it talks about World War II and about a war breaking out, and then you have to send reporters to the front. And then it talks about like in the 1960s, and then it talks about the 70s, the 80s, and 90s. Like the game does eventually progress in time, but I haven't got to that point because I can't get past the first month or two.
You're stuck in the 40s, man.
without going bankrupt, dude. I mean, I literally go bankrupt so fast. I'm like, how the fuck? Because then, because you could take a loan out, Gunny, right? You can take, like, say you run out of money, right? You have no money left, but you need money to buy newspaper and food and shit to stock up your machine so your people can
I do
go
it in
do
City
things.
Skylines all the time, man. Why not?
But you're taking money from the mob. So the mob is charging you like interest on this money. Like, so if you take out a $5,000 loan, that's a $5,000 loan with 5% interest. So every week when they're getting paid, they're getting 5% interest on that $5,000. So they're taking $500 out of
Oh
your
yeah,
pay every week
Bruno's gonna show up
automatically.
with baseball
And
bats,
and
huh?
then that is if you don't pay it back, it just stays at that 5% till you pay it back. So until you start paying back the 5,000 in total, you have to keep paying that 5%. So it's kind of
Hey,
like,
I like that though, but rather than compounding interest from a bank. So
yeah. And I was like, well, fuck. Like, you take the loan out, right? You try to expand your building, you try to make it better or whatever, and then you realize you just fucked yourself. Because I did that the other day. I took a $10,000 loan out, which is the max, like 10% interest. And I upgraded my building. I did a bunch of shit, and then I ran out of money.
Oh no.
so
so maybe
the,
you took the loan too early in the game, right?
then the next week, I printed my newspaper, and it was all fucked up. Like nobody liked it. Everybody was talking shit. And then I made no money on it, and then I lost all my money. I had $0, and it was like, well, you have no money left. Like, you can try to like make news this week, but like, if you run out of paper, you can't buy more paper. If you run out of food, you can't buy more food. If you run out of like money, you can't pay your employees, and they won't work. So I was like, well, game over, I guess. So I just gave up. But yeah.
Keep at it. Next time the employees they get up whatever depressed or sad, just bring them some of those magic mushrooms and some Dunkin'
I give
Donuts.
them like everything, bro. I give them like little plants and little paintings on the wall and clocks and posters. And and the problem is the fucking machine that prints, it's like really loud and it's really hot. So like that makes it to where like the heat like starts going into the other floors. And then it makes those floors hot and it makes people uncomfortable. So you have to build vents and fans and fucking put in like brick shit in the wall so like it cools the building down a little bit. Like all this shit trying to like fight this fucking heat. And it's hard, man. Like the game is not easy. Like that game really is it's difficult for what it is. It's not like you would think, oh, it's a little easy game. Like it can't be that hard. No, like you start getting into it more and more and you realize any little mistake you make, you're gonna pay the price down the road. Eventually it'll catch up to you. And like sometimes you can make deals with the mayor or with the bank or with the mob even. Like you'll make a deal with the mob and they'll be like, okay, we want you to print a story about our rival gang, the Irish people. And we think that they're like laundering money or something, and we want you to expose them so they can get arrested. So then you go, right? And then you go try to report on the Irish mob. Well, who's protecting the Irish mob? The fucking cops. So now you have to
Yeah.
deal with the cops trying to arrest your reporters or beat them up or like fine you. Because then if they arrest your reporter, then your reporter's in jail for like a day or two. So during that day or two, he's not reporting on anything. He's just in jail for 2 days. So like I said, every week it's a week timer. So like you have Monday through Sunday. Once that Sunday hits, you have to print whatever you have. So if your reporter missed 2 days of that week because he was in a jail cell, that's 2 days of stories that you could have had out, from your reporter, but you weren't able to do that because he was in a fucking jail cell. Or they end up in a hospital because they got beat up by the cops. So it'd be like, oh, your employee is out for 3 days in the hospital because he got beat up. And it's like, oh, fuck. Oh, man, like, what the fuck? So, yeah, it sucks. But we'll see what happens. I'll continue playing it. I think the developer is really trying to like actually work on it because I have seen him deploy a few patches out to it. So I'll give him a shout out for that because they seem to really not they seem to be taking your feedback to heart and like really listening to the people. Like what we're saying is kind of wrong with the game. It seems like they're trying to address some of the issues, which is what I look for in any early access title that has, you know, like problems. I want to see the developer actually addressing the issues and trying to stay on top of it. There's some developers that are really good about that, and there's some
Yeah.
that just kind of just don't give a fuck. They just don't care. Like they're just like, whatever, we don't fucking care. We got your money. Like we don't
The
fucking.
ones, Jesus, that are like, not that I always follow a game all the way through or say a developer sucks, but it always gives that perception when you go to look at Steam, for example, and you're like, oh, look, I know this game. Oh, it's on sale for $6.27. Yeah, I always wanted to check this game. And then you go look and it's got like very negative reviews or something. Like,
Yeah,
no wonder it's so damn cheap, because they didn't update this shit. That's what all the comments are saying.
like some of the people that I
Just
give
patch it.
props to is like Void Interactive with Ready or Not. They did a pretty good job with that game. I feel like they did a solid job with it, and they're even after it's been 1.0, they've released a few new maps, I think, and they're still working on more content. They said, and I think they're trying to work on. I think their next thing they're trying to work on right now is trying to bring it to the consoles. The problem with the consoles, though, I think that they're having is their their scenarios in the mode are too controversial.
Oh,
Like
yeah, with the
like
school,
they're
right?
too yeah, like there's a school shooting thing in there that you have to stop the shooter. There's another one where you're trying to bust like a child pornography ring or something. There's another one where you're trying to bust like a prostitution ring in like some fucking shipyard somewhere. There's like different scenarios that are pretty fucked up, like that like people they're saying like maybe the consoles won't let this like be on the console because it's too like
Not safe
controversial.
for Xbox.
Or
Yeah.
PlayStation,
Sony
yeah.
doesn't do early access stuff. As far as I know, they still don't.
But we'll see. Maybe they will, because there has been controversy on consoles before. There has been levels and stuff that people consider controversial. I mean, we look at Call of Duty; they've had multiple games that have had
Yeah.
controversial levels. That like people are like, "Whoa, like that's kind of like dark." Like what the fuck.
Yeah,
Anyways,
nudity in games, right? You just can't stream it, but there's nudity in games, so right,
yeah.
rated M for mature.
But what else? Um, besides that, I've been also playing a lot of Helldivers.
Yeah,
Hill
every
Divers
time
2.
I'm on Steam, I see Jesus on there playing Helldivers. I'm like, yeah, he's over
Yeah.
there grinding away.
Before we started recording, and then I was like,
Okay,
okay,
A
he's home.
lot,
He's playing.
what
Yeah.
what
a
what level are
lot of
you,
Helldivers
Jesus?
too.
What level are you?
I'm not that high of a level actually. I'm only level 13,
Okay. Did I
but
ask you
I've been
that? I think
playing
I'm about to ask
quite
you
a bit of it.
off stream the other day because I know my son was playing a lot. And I think I told you where he was at, and I'm like, holy cow! Like he's been grinding that game.
So Jesus, I got my first question for you before you even start talking about it, because you were streaming it last week, I think after the show or earlier this week, and you were talking about how you made a mention about how the game's a grind, but I mean, obviously a good one. I hope that's what you're going to say. And just various Twitch streams that I've watched and other videos, but is it like a World War Z sort of situation where you grind for some of those weapons, some of the guns and stuff? Because
Yeah,
how does it
what?
compare
That's
Um,
to
why I
that one?
asked because what happens if I join you, Jesus, and I just my son has it, so I can play off his account, but I'll be playing off my Steam account, so I'll be level 1 joining you. How does how does that affect things?
it doesn't really. You get in there and you'll have the basic standard loadout. I mean, yeah, I'll have more cool shit to call in. You'll have all the basic stuff to call in. Um, so like there's these things called, I think they're called stratagems or something like that. And these are things that you unlock on your ship that you can use and you equip before you drop out to the mission. You equip 4 of them to your character. And like they could be anything from it could be anything from like an airstrike to a turret being called down to mostly airstrikes and turrets or like extra weapons that you can call down. Like heavy weapons. So you can call down a rocket launcher or like a light machine gun, or there's other things like little backpacks you can put on, and these backpacks will have like little like drones that fly next to you, and they'll shoot enemies for you. They'll also shoot you because everything in the game will also shoot you because everything is like just designed to kill the enemy. It's not designed to like identify friendly and enemy. So it's just like if you stand in front of a turret and there's a fucking enemy behind you, the turret will turn on and it will fucking kill you in a second because it's going to automatically shoot at the enemy. So keep that in mind every time you drop a turret somewhere. But yeah, as far as the levels, it doesn't really matter much. You just kind of have to have
So
a good team to be able to
right,
get in there and fight with. You will struggle and you will die because you won't understand the concept of the game. But once you get it down and you kind of know like when to hide, when to run, when to push, and when to fall back, that's the key to the game. Knowing how to push forward and how to fall back when you need to. Because there's times where you go into an objective and then you run into a nest of bugs or whatever. And you think, okay, we can take this nest out. And you start attacking the nest and bugs start coming out. And then, you know, if your team was separated, so you have one guy that's way ahead of everybody else and the other team's kind of behind them, and your guy in front dies, well, then you're down one guy. So then the bugs start pushing towards you. And if you don't fall back and you don't like start calling in airstrikes and shit to help you out, because everything's on a timer. So if you call in an airstrike, it's on a timer. Like if you call one in, it'll take like sometimes like there's one that I have is the cluster bomb. You can call it in, right? First strike, it'll come in and it'll just drop the cluster bomb wherever you drop the beacon, and it'll kind of fuck everything up in that area. But then it takes 20 seconds or 18 seconds to cool down again. So you have 18 seconds to run the fuck away and hopefully get another one to call in right away in that position. The problem is with all these airstrikes, like I said, they don't give a fuck if you're standing right next to them. If you call in an airstrike and you drop the beacon right on your feet, you're gonna die. Like you might have enough time to like try to run away and dive and hopefully not die, but 99% of the time you will die. You're just gonna die. Like so, there's been moments in the game where I've done that. I'm like, all right, fuck it. Like I'm so surrounded by bugs right now that even if I try to run, they're gonna kill me. So I'm gonna just call in an airstrike on myself right now and say, fuck it, I'm gonna die. But at least hopefully I take some of these fuckers out with me. And yeah, so that's kind of like sometimes you have to sacrifice yourself. Sometimes you have to like try to do the mission as best as you can. There's a lot of friendly fire deaths that happens quite a bit. You can even shoot your own teammates with like your gun. Like
Yeah,
there is
I've seen
friendly
that.
fire.
That's hilarious.
Like if you're shooting and they run in front of you and you shoot them, they might die.
Can you pick up a teammate, or do they have to respawn via ship?
No, they have to respawn via the dropship thing. So like every mission comes with so many of those equipped. I think it's four per player. So if there's 4 players on the squad, you might have 16 or 19 of them. But if it's just you by yourself, which I have done missions by myself, you only get like 4 or 5, maybe. But once you run out of the 5, say you used up all 5 and you're still alive, you can wait 2 minutes and it'll give you another respawn. Like it'll be like, all right, you ran out of redeployments, but we're working on it, and it'll be like a 2-minute timer. So if you can survive for 2 minutes, you can hopefully get another call in.
Bonus round. I like it.
But yeah, there's been missions where we've gotten down to like no time left. And the problem with that is like your ship, like there's a timer when you start a mission. It'll be like a 40-minute timer or a 30-minute timer or a 10-minute timer. And you have to complete the objectives within this time limit. If you don't complete the objectives within the time limit, it doesn't mean mission failed. It just means that once the timer is out, like your big spaceship thing in the sky, like the whatever they're called, the warships or whatever they're called, they
Dreadnought?
fly away. They fucking leave the planet, and then you can't call in anything. Like you can't call in reinforcements. You You can't call in an airstrike. You can't call in guns. You can't call in ammo. You can't call nothing in. So you better hope that if you ever do run into that situation, you're already extracting, or you're pretty
Or
fucking close to extracting.
yeah, or you're FUCKED.
No, you are. You will be fucked because once you run out of, if you run out of ammo, dude, you're done. Like if you run out of ammo, on all your guns, you are done.
Who
So
calls
yeah,
in the resupply? Like you, or is that like part of your?
anyone on the team, anyone on the team can call in a resupply. Anyone on the team can call in their airstrikes and their equipment. So your airstrikes and equipment are tied to you only. Only you can call those in. But anyone can call in a resupply. Anyone can call in a redeploy, which is like the respawn. If somebody dies, you can respawn them in. Anyone can call those in. But all your airstrikes are tied to you. So like if I have a cluster bomb, it doesn't mean Mayo will have a cluster bomb if he joins me. He'll just have whatever he has equipped on his character when he joins.
Say I know there's different levels of difficulty, right? There's like you can do like higher levels of difficulty, right? From what my boy talked. Like, what if I join
What
like
do you
a
mean?
higher like? Is there like an easy,
Scaling,
harder
maybe?
there you can like different. There's I guess like a higher level of difficulty of like a mission or whatever. I'm not sure if it was mission. I think my son was saying
There
like
is.
he was like he was on like the second highest difficulty or something like that. So my question was like, say if you guys were like on the second or like halfway through that tree or difficulty or whatever, and I join you as a new player, is it going to be really, really difficult for me, or am I going to get like a ton of XP really fast and get power leveled? Or is it
I don't think you'll get a ton of XP. I think the XP is just based on the mission. You might get more XP because it is harder, yeah.
right? That's
But
what
you
I'm
get
wondering.
less XP.
And you'll
You get
You
less
probably just
XP the
get
easier
carried,
it
right?
is.
I just get
But yeah,
carried
we would
through
have
it.
to. You'd have to get carried because your equipment is just not good enough. Like,
Right. And yeah, that's what I'm curious
yeah,
about too. Is like,
you have guns and shit that will kill enemies. Of course, yeah, you'll be able to kill people, but DXP is not divided by kills. I don't think it's just divided equally among the squad whenever people finish the match.
how you do? Isn't it like by how many people leave and all that stuff?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just based on the squad though, but like it's not divided like, oh, Mayo got 50 more kills than me, so Mayo gets 100 more XP. No, it's just based on how many people extracted, how many objectives were done, how fast you did the mission, how much time was left over on the thing, and then how many side objectives you did. And if you did all the side objectives, if you did everything completely perfect, then you get all the XP you can possibly get in the match. If you
So
didn't,
this
you
is
get
really
so much
team
XP.
based, I'd say, from what you're explaining.
Mhm.
So step it up, Mayo.
Yeah.
It is, but I
Get in the
haven't.
fight.
Most of the matches, I don't even talk to people. I just kind of fuck around and we kind of coordinate by calling in stuff and pinging the map of where we're going to go next. And then we go there and then we do the objective and then we move on. Um, but yeah, there hasn't been like a lot of matches that I've had with weird people. Like most people have been pretty cool. There's been a few assholes. There's been like two of them that were real assholes that I was like, you know what? Fuck you, dude. There was two guys that were like on my team, right? I was on a mission by myself, and then these two guys spawned in. Like they because I dropped like when you're on a mission, when you're missing somebody in your squad, you can drop in like a thing called an SOS beacon, and that SOS beacon kind of just, I think it kind of just puts your mission on the map. So when people are searching for a match, they'll see your mission pop up, and they'll see like a thing on there that says this player needs one more player, or they need three more players, or they need two more people, or whatever, right? Because it's a squad of four. And then people can drop into your match that way. So I did that. And then these two guys dropped in. We were doing good, man. We were doing the missions. We did the objective. And then we get to the final objective, which is launch a nuke. And we're trying to launch this nuke. And I'm trying to go through all this shit because you have to like go to the launch to the control panel. And then you have to type in the code. Then you have to type in another code with numbers. Then you have to release the locks on the fucking thing for the missile. Then you have to put some other shit. Then you have to wait for the missile to fuel up. At some point in that fucking whole doing like the 5 different steps of launching this nuke, these fuckers started to team kill me on purpose. Like they started shooting me, and I was like, okay, maybe it was just a mistake. Maybe he's fucking around, right? And then I respawn, and they shoot me again. And then I
Oh,
respawn,
frick.
and they shoot me again. So you know what? I just fucking kicked them. I said kick and block. That's what I did. I kicked them and I blocked them. I was like, fuck you, man. Like, you want to fuck around and do it? Like, I'll just kick you from my match and do the mission myself. And I ended up actually doing the mission by myself, and I finished it, and I got the XP for it. Now, I don't think if they get kicked, I don't think they get any XP for that mission. I think they just get kicked. So there's that. So, like, a host can kick you if you piss off the host for some reason. Like, say you just suck, or you're holding the team down some way, or you're team killing too much or
Is there
something. They
is
will.
there a vote to kick kind of thing?
No,
System
no.
is just for the host.
It's just from the host. So yeah, I've had to kick a few people from my matches. I think I've kicked like 4 people so far. But like I said, they were just real assholes. One guy was just talking shit to me because it was me and him, right? Originally there was 4 of us, and 2 people left our squad because we were getting swarmed by, like, I'm talking like a lot of bugs, man. I've never seen this many bugs come out of these fucking nests. But there was like 4 of the big guys, like 4 big charger guys. Probably like 6 of the big bugs that spit at you. And like 100 or 200 of the little bugs just running around fucking us up, dude. Like all these different types of bugs. And I was like, dude, like, we can't do this. Like, I died, and then he respawned me, and I'd come in, and I'd drop in turrets and shit, and they would just get destroyed in seconds because as soon as the turret popped up, all the bugs would be on it, and they would just destroy it right away. And I'm like, fuck, I can't do anything. I don't have airstrikes. I'm not equipped for this type of fight. Like, I came in with a certain loadout, and now we're fucked because the other 2 guys left our team. It's just me and this one guy. And then this one guy started talking shit to me. He's like, "Oh, you fucking suck." I'm like, "Fuck you, man!" Like, I'm like, you respawn me, and where I'm landing is the middle of all these bugs. What do you want me to do? Like, you're literally spawning me, and my drop fucking pod bullshit drops in the middle of all these motherfuckers. Like, what am I supposed to do? As soon as I pop up, I'm fighting for my life, and I die right away because I can't fucking shoot everything. Because if you run out of ammo in this game, another thing with this game, if you're shooting your gun and you run out of ammo and you don't reload yourself, like if you don't actively reload yourself, you don't have bullets. The gun just doesn't shoot. You're just stop shooting. And your character will yell, "Oh, I'm out of ammo." And like, you have to actively press the R button to reload or whatever it is on a controller, maybe X or something. But you have to actively reload yourself. So if you're not paying attention to your fucking bullets because you're just fucking spraying and praying, then guess what? You're gonna fucking get swarmed pretty fast and die. And
I've seen how long some of those weapons take to reload, right? Especially the bigger ones.
the big ones take forever to reload. Like the big light machine gun, you have to get down.
Yeah.
You have to get down on your knee, and then you have to pull out the fucking thing. It takes like probably 2 or 3 seconds to reload, while the submachine gun takes about a second or 2. But like, yeah, man, like the game is fun though. Despite some of the assholes that I have met in the game and matchmaking, most of the people, I want to say, yeah, most of the people have been pretty awesome, and they've been really cool with me. Like these guys that I met, they must have all known each other because there were 2 guys that were talking to each other when they joined me, and then we were doing missions, and it was cool. And then this other guy joined us, and they're like, "Oh, he's here! What's up, buddy?" And he's like, "Hey guys, what's up? I finally made it." And they're like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, we're all here." And I was like, "Who the fuck? Like these guys all know?" It was weird, right? Because I'm like the odd man out, even though they're in my lobby.
Right.
I'm not part of their crew. Like I don't know these guys, and I'm talking to them, and they're like, they're talking to me, and they're kind of cool and shit. But like, I ended up because the problem is they were lower level than I was. I was like a level 10, and they were like level 4 and 5 and 3. And I took him to the robot planet because there's 2 different factions you can fight right now. There's the bugs who are on one side of the fucking galaxy, and then there's the robots on the other side of the galaxy. And you have to kind of like, you can choose whichever one you want to fight. You can go just do robots, or you can just go do bugs. I like the bugs better because it seems to be easier to kill. The robots seems a little bit harder. So I'm trying to level up my character so I can be able to go to the robots and fuck them up, But anyways, I told these guys, "Oh, you guys want to experience some Terminators?" And they're like, "Well, what the fuck is that?" And I'm like,
Right.
well, let's just go do it. Let's just go launch because I think the mission was like we had to launch a nuke. So we go to the fucking robot planet, and they were like, "Dude, where the fuck did you take us, Jesus?" And we drop in, and like these fucking Terminators are everywhere, right? They're coming at you, they're fucking you up, and like they're tough, dude. And these guys were like, "Dude, this is fucked up. Like this is more fucked up than the Bug Planet. What the fuck?" And it was mayhem, dude, because we were calling it airstrikes. We barely made it out of that mission, like barely made it out of that
This
mission.
team has that Terminator walk. They've got it down. They've got it
Yeah.
down. It looks like Terminators. That's exactly what they are.
Yeah, that is what they are. Yeah, I forget what I think they're called. Matter of fact, I think the robots are called the Terminoids or something like that.
It just changed the wording a little bit.
I think that's what they're called, the Terminoids, and I think the bugs are called. I don't know what the bugs are called. They're called something. I forget what they're called. They have a name to them though too. And yeah, so apparently, like, you click on a section, right, and it'll be like highlighted orange or like gold, kind of gold orange for the bugs and red for the robots. And then you click on that section, and then it'll show like how many planets are in that section. And each planet will show how liberated it is or how invaded it is by a certain like type. So like if you click on a planet and it says 100% safe, that means that we as Helldivers or Super Earth or whatever liberated that planet and it's 100% safe. And then you have to kind of go and select the planet that hasn't been liberated all the way, and then do that mission. So yeah, I think yesterday I did a mission on one of the. It was one of the bug planets, and I think our squad, when we completed the mission and did all the mission objectives, we were the ones that liberated the planet. It said like it was like a 99.999 something, and it said your squad because it'll show like how much contribution your squad did to the war effort or whatever, to bring it up or down. And it'll say like your squad did 2% contribution or 1% or 3%. I think we'd end up doing like 2 or 3% on this mission. And it said it went from like 99.99 something to like 100% liberated. And I was like, man, we should get like a special award for that. What the fuck?
Yeah.
We get
Right,
nothing.
because you figure that accounts for like everybody on PlayStation and on Steam or on PC.
And we got nothing. It's just like, it's just like any other win. It's like the war's not over, I guess.
On to the next planet.
We have to keep fighting these fucking bugs. But yeah, man, like the game really does a really good job of like when you're dropping in from the hell pods or whatever, and you're dropping in from the sky from your ship. It's a really cool little intro. The loading screen is really like the music. It's really like it's like it starts to hype you up, man. Like that's a really cool moment when it'll be like, oh, hell divers to hell pods, and then everyone gets into the hell pod, and you start all selecting your like fucking equipment you're gonna bring with you, and then it'll be like, all right, and then it shows them like launching the fucking pods down, and then the loading screen comes up, and it shows from your ship the drops dropping down out of the ship, like the pods dropping down, and then like it shows them going into orbit into the planet. I'm like, that's fucking cool, and the music is playing. That shit hypes you up, Gunny. It gets you going. It gets me going.
Good stuff. Yeah,
It's
this
really
game looks
fun,
like a
man.
lot. I like the movement. Like when I first saw it, like when you're diving, either left or right, it kind of reminded me of like an old Max Payne or like a
Yeah.
video game or something. You're like
And there
Neo
is
or
like
something in the
there
Matrix.
is like ragdoll effects too. So like if you drop a missile and the explosion is really close to you, but not enough to kill you, it'll kind of send your guy flying backwards or whatever. Or it'll send you flying forward if you're facing away from it. And like if you dive from a mountain, your guy will ragdoll down the mountain. Like you'll fall and you start ragdolling down the mountain, like rolling and shit, trying to get back up. So there's a lot of that type of shit too. But man, I really like the game. It is so much fun. like I really think that what's that game? Starship Troopers needs to take a lot of notes from Helldivers.
Do you
They
think
were
they
doing a
are
good
already?
job.
They're probably already looking at the success of it. They got to be like,
Yeah,
oh
I
man,
think
this
they're
game
probably
came out
thinking
after us and it's way more popular than we are.
they're thinking like, holy fucking shit. But the thing is, Helldivers did come out as a finished product. Helldivers doesn't have a season pass attached to it at all. And it does have microtransactions, but the microtransactions don't seem to be egregious. Like you can buy these things called super credits, and these super credits can you can use super credits to buy, I don't know, cosmetic things, I guess, or like guns or some. I don't know what the fuck you use them, right, honestly, 'cause I don't fucking use them, but I know you can buy them. There's like packs of super credits, and there's like an acquisition store. And this acquisition store you can use because every match you complete, you get like these little badges. They're like little gold coins. And these little gold coins unlock like these things. Like it'll be like the first page, and it'll be like first page has a set of armor, a new cape, a new gun, a new background emblem for your character, a new helmet, and a new whatever, like a new emote. And you can use these little gold coins to unlock these, and it'll be like unlock. It'll say spend 10 gold coins to unlock the next page. So you spend 10 gold coins buying whatever you think is reasonable. Then it unlocks the next page, and it'll be like spend 15 gold coins to unlock the next page. But see, that's not super credits. Super credits are something else that I think are for like an actual microtransaction store where you can go into this actual store. I think it resets every day. And they'll have like one page. This is one page right now. There'll probably be more in the future, honestly. But right now it's only one page. And it'll be like one set of armor, one helmet, one calling card, one gun or whatever. And you can spend your super credits to buy that outfit. Like if you want that armor because it gives you better protection, or it gives you better grenades, or it gives you more ammo capacity or whatever, you can spend the super credits to buy that. Now you can get super credits by just playing the game. Like in the game itself, in the acquisition store, like I said, Mayo and Gunny, where you spend the gold coins, the little gold coins you earn per mission, there's every page has most of them. I think most of every page, not all of them, but like I would say every other page that you skip down will have a little thing that says spend 10 of your gold coins to get like 400 super credits, or get 500 super credits, or get 1,000 super credits or whatever. And then you can earn these super credits this way for free, kind of, without having to pay money to actually be able to spend in the actual microtransaction store, like the real money store, I guess. But then there's also super credits that are dropped in like missions. So like you'll be in a mission and you'll run into uh like a research station, like randomly on the planet. That's not even part of your objective. It's just kind of like there. And you'll run into it randomly. And sometimes you'll like look around and you either find like you'll find samples, which is like an exotic sample or a basic sample or whatever, or a rare sample, or you might find super credits. And that's how you find these things. And like the samples are used to upgrade your ship. That's how you upgrade like your actual like big spaceship. You can upgrade like it'll be different upgrades. Like one of the upgrades is um if you call in a gun from like your spaceship, like you call in like a heavy weapon, it'll come fully loaded with all the magazines. Whereas if you don't have that upgrade, it just comes with one magazine, right? Or it'll be like, oh, if you buy this upgrade for your ship, the pilot cooling, the cockpit cooling fucking upgrade. It means that your airstrikes that you call in from the pilots that are coming in doing airstrikes, they'll be reduced by 50%. Cooldown time will be reduced because it has this cooling upgrade attached to the ships now or whatever. So you can call in airstrikes a little bit faster now, or you can call in turrets a little bit faster, or your turrets will spin a little bit. Like because turrets have a certain speed they turn around at. And if you buy a certain upgrade, you can make them spin around faster so they can spin around and acquire targets quicker, So there's different upgrades like that. But like I said, nothing has been egregious where I've seen in the store that says like, oh man, I really have to buy this gun because I really want to win. I haven't run into that. Now that might be there, but I don't pay attention to that store. So to me, it's kind of like whatever, I'm kind
That's
of just
good.
playing
It's
it and
not in your
enjoying it.
face. That store, yeah, that's
It
good.
really isn't. I mean, the one store that's kind of in your face is the acquisition store, and that's the one you spend the gold medals on. And like I said, you get those by just completing the missions. And you can even find some of those just like you can find the rare samples and the basic samples and the super credits on the map. You can also find like sometimes you'll find a crash. It'll be like a little like escape pod that's crashed into the ground. And then you go up to it and then you open it up and it'll be like, oh, you found a gold medal. Like you found you found a gold medal. So now you have an extra gold medal that you earned for that match. You know what I mean? Now the thing is, when you're in the mission and you pick up a bunch of samples, say you picked up a few exotic samples or rare samples, and you picked up a few basic samples, and you're running around and you're doing the objective still. If you die between you getting those samples and extracting, if you die anytime in between that, you do drop everything. I'm talking everything. You drop all your guns, you drop any heavy weapon you have, any backpack you have on, and any samples that you're carrying or any medals that you're carrying get dropped. And if you want that shit, you better go pick it up or you better have one of your teammates pick it up. So there's that. So don't try to think, oh man, I had 20 samples, but I died right before we extracted. And now I don't know, why the fuck didn't I get my 20 samples? Well, dude, you didn't pick them back up when you got back down to the planet. You know what I mean? So there's that, Gunny.
Yeah.
Also,
so
if you leave,
when you spawn back in, like when you
Mhm.
drop again or whatever, like I guess you kind of see your your pack or whatever. Like, is that the spot you can choose to pick it up?
you don't really see it. You kind of have to open up your map real quick. That's why Mayo was saying that it's funny that it's
Yeah,
on
that was
tab.
weird. Like it's
But
just
it
tab.
is
It's right
it's
there.
on there because it's just you need to access it really fast, and you don't have time to sit there and stare at it for like 2 minutes and plan shit out. You just have to look at it, glance at it, and try to like find out where shit's at really quick. And then so you tab on it real quick, and it'll show like a little icon for your drop samples or whatever you drop, like your guns or whatever you dropped. It'll show that on the map, and you can run that direction and hopefully run into it. 99% of the time, you won't drop near where you died because when your teammate throws out the respawn beacon, he's throwing it out.
Yeah.
You're throwing
Right.
it,
Further
and
out. Yeah.
he might be throwing it as he's running away from where you died. He might have been across from you, the other side of the map, running the other direction, and you were running the other way, and you died. And he's calling you back in, but he's calling you back in on the other side of that tower or that mountain that you were at. So sometimes it's worth it to go back and get him if you can, but I wouldn't sacrifice myself again trying to go get them again. If you look over there and there's like a million fucking bugs or robots just fucking swarming the area, you don't want to risk going back in there just for like 3 samples, or even 10 samples. It's not worth it, like it's better to just try to complete the mission at that point and keep moving
Yeah.
forward. But yeah, man, I fucking love this game. Like I can't say enough good things about it. I'm so happy that it's really successful, and I really hope that Sony and the Helldiver developer really work on getting this on Xbox because the game is really fucking good. It's a lot of fucking fun, dude. Like it's just fun going in there and doing a mission and thinking, "Oh man, I want to do another one. Oh, I
Yeah,
just want just one more."
and it goes to show too. Like this is not like AAA price or nothing. This is what, a $40 game. I guess $39.99. And it doesn't have to be a $70 game to be really good and really enjoyed by the community. Like I think these developers forget sometimes, like, oh, it's gonna be a AAA game, and we have so many AAA games out there that they're not nearly as popular, or they're just not nearly as good. You know, like Skull and Bones. You look at how much time they put in that, and now they're charging $70 for that game. And then you got Helldivers out here who's, you know, $40 and just
$40,
way
yeah.
better and way more popular. And that's just like, you know, what I've been playing this week too. You know, I've been playing a $10 game. You know, so it's like
Yeah.
just a little cheap $10 game, and it's way better and way more addictive than some of these other AAA titles out there. That it's just like
Well, remember
it's nice to
Ubisoft.
see.
Ubisoft said that Skull and Bones is a quadruple A game.
It is, and that's
Yeah.
They
okay.
said it was, they said it was the first quadruple A game. So just so you
Yeah.
know, Mayo. I mean, better watch how you're talking there,
You
Mayo.
got
That's a
roasted for
quadruple
that.
A game.
That's why it's $70. I know, right?
Yeah, that's why. That's why he said, man, $70 because this is quadruple A, guys. That's why it's $70.
But we think some of these
Like
other
this
games,
game,
like
you know, and the crazy part about this game is I've heard multiple people in multiple matches now, not just once, not just twice. I want to say about 4 or 5 times now while playing this game. I've heard multiple people say, "Hey, you know, like I bought the regular edition of this game, but I think I'm gonna buy the Ultimate Edition. I think it's called the Super Citizen Edition, just to support them. Like
yeah,
I'm gonna buy that $60 version just to support these guys." Because there's 2 versions of the game. Now, if you buy the regular edition, which is the $40 one, when you go to the acquisition store, it only lets you buy from the top acquisition store. But I think if you have the Super Citizen Edition, it lets you also buy from the bottom acquisition store, which is a blue store. But that store is locked for me, and I think it's locked for me because I haven't. I'm assuming you either have to progress to the entire top store, right, to get that store unlocked, or you probably have to buy the Super Citizen Edition to be able to get things from that store immediately, you know? I think that's the difference. And I think that's what the Super Citizen Edition gets you. I don't know what else the Super Citizen Edition gets you, but I'm
yeah. I'm
pretty
trying to look right
sure.
now.
Yeah, I'm
I
trying to
still,
see.
I still, you know, I still support that, Jesus, even though if anybody doesn't understand it, I think I get it what you're talking about, you know, with the non-egregious microtransactions or well, I know you're talking about like the stuff you earn in game, in missions and stuff. So I would do that, right? Like for me, I'd be like, you know what? I just buy the $40 version, whatever, right? I'm still supporting them. At the same time, I don't have access to the other stuff in the store, but I just want to complete missions and have fun in the game.
Jesus, all I see here on the DLC on the Steam page, it just says the edition includes a Survivor of the Free armor set. It says you will get a Will of the People cape, a MP98 Knight weapon, a Super Citizen status, a hero ship game. It's like a stratagem hero ship game, and a Steeled Veterans Premium War Bond.
Mm.
Is what it
So I'm
looks like it
looking
comes
here, and it
with.
says that if you get the Steeled Veterans Premium War Bond, that is a thing where you can. It's like a battle pass, I guess. And you can unlock that using the regular super credits, but you have to have 1,000 super credits to unlock that. And then that
Gotcha. Well,
unlocks
you
that
get
battle
you get it on the
pass.
DLC, yeah.
But you get it if you buy this DLC. And apparently that's about the it said that's about the only thing you cannot earn in game that the Super Citizen Edition contains. Everything
And
else is
it's
exclusive
still with that
to the Super
DLC,
Citizen Edition.
you know, you're still only looking at $60. So it's still cheaper than the AAA or quadruple A Skull and Bones, you know.
Yeah. Because they're saying that everything else in the Super Citizen Edition, so like the cape, the gun, the armor set, the citizen status, and the hero ship game, the stratagem hero ship game, all that stuff is exclusive to that version of the game, except for the premium war bond, which you get if you do the battle pass thing. So I don't know. Who knows?
I
Maybe it's
say,
worth
you
it.
know, see how much more you're gonna play of this. Like, I mean, obviously you're gonna play more, you know, today, tomorrow, but yeah, I would hold back Jesus to see. Right, if you really get into this, then definitely throw some extra bones, unlock more
Yeah.
shit.
But this game is fun, dude. It's so much fun. It's just
You gonna pick it
camping
up,
fun
Mayo?
too.
Are you gonna get this?
Well, I have access to it already because my son has it, and I share with him, and it lets me play it. I had it fired up right before we got together, and just doing the tutorial. So I do have
Yeah.
access to it. I may need to pick it up though because like way Steam sharing works is if my son jumps on, I lose access to the game. Like I have so much time I have to get off. So if it's in the evening or whatever, and I'm playing off his account, and he jumps on, it kind of says, "Hey, you have so much time before you have to get out." So
I remember that. Yeah,
I may end up, I
I
may
know
end up
that.
just picking up my own version of it. We'll see.
Same here.
But it's a fucking awesome game, dude. I really, 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 really like it. And I can't wait to play more of it. I actually plan to stay up tonight playing it just to grind my character and get more cool shit, man. I'm just trying to like get better stratagems or whatever to get like better things to call in, better airstrikes, better things to take out the big bugs. There's a bug, man. He's called the Bio Titan, and I did a mission against this fucker, and this fucker is big, Mayo. He's like the size of like a building, dude.
I've
He
seen some of those and some of the like highlights or stuff that people shared with me.
he literally is the size of a building, and if you don't have enough airstrikes to call in on his ass off the get go just to get him by surprise while he's standing there waiting for you to come up to him, you will die. That motherfucker will chase you around the whole fucking map. The two guys, remember I told you the guys that I was playing that had like that one buddy? The first mission I did with them was one of those things. And they were like, "What the fuck is that? Jesus, what the fuck?" They were all fucking like, they were all freaking the fuck out because they've never run into that. That was like the
Mhm.
first time they ever did a mission in one of those, and they were just like, "What the fuck is this? Holy shit!" We fucking. But then there's other times where I play with people, random people, and then we've all just called in an airstrike on that thing at the same time. So we got like 3 cluster bombs coming in, a fucking laser from the sky, a fucking cannon shooting from the sky, and that thing got obliterated like in seconds. It was just like, all right, mission complete. You guys killed it. Good job. It's like, oh well, that was fast. But that's
Right.
because we called in. That's because we called in like 5 airstrikes on that
You
fucker
all
at the
kind of
same
knew right
time.
away too. Like
Yeah.
What's that thing called in Gears of War? Not Hand of God or whatever. What was that thing in Gears of War 2?
Hammer of Dawn.
Hammer of Dawn is that? Yeah, I know.
There's one. There is a weapon like that in the game where it's like a laser that comes from the sky, and it'll automatically lock on to the biggest enemy in the area. So if there's like a big enemy around you, you call that in, it'll lock onto it. Problem is though, then a lot of the times these enemies are chasing you. So guess what happens when that fucking laser is chasing the enemy? It's also
it's
going to
chasing
hit you
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's chasing you.
Yeah, so it's like it's chasing you and it's chasing it, and you're trying to like avoid getting hit by it, and it fucking. I mean, it does damage to the enemies, but like it sucks because you're trying to avoid getting hit yourself. And this is like I said, there's a lot of friendly fire in this game. So much friendly fire. You gotta learn to not be mad at your teammates if they kill you somehow. Like every time I've been team killed, I don't get mad at it. I'm just like, fuck, like, oh well, like whatever, like
And
it's gonna happen.
my son was telling me about this too when he had an event he was playing, right? He thought his one of his teammates, he was playing with friends, right? And he was running back or something like that, and his friends were by the drop ship or whatever. They're getting ready to extract or whatever. And the one kid decided to be funny and shoot my boy. And so my boy like shoots back at him and he kills his friend. And they start going back and forth. So they started arguing, He's like, "You killed me, you shot me." He's like, "Well, what'd you shoot me for?" My son's like, "What'd you shoot me for?" Like, "Why are you trying to do team damage?" And like he was telling me though, but when you get to the end of the level, it shows you how much team damage you've done. So then he was then he was able to be like, "Look," he's like, "See, you did like this much team damage. You shot me like right here, and that's why I killed you," kind of thing. But I think it says like when you extract or something, like how much team damage you have done even as well.
Huh. Interesting. But yeah, man, I really fucking love the game. And I wish there was cross progression. That way I can play it on my PS5, but there's not.
You just
So I'm playing on Steam.
Yeah. That's kind of
Yeah.
unfortunate. I wish, like you could just pick up and play on PS5 and then go to Steam.
Kind of like Call of Duty, right? Like just play it wherever.
Yeah. And what would would that just require? What, like you maybe have to log in on your PC and the PS5? You know what I mean? Like, like Call of Duty,
Yeah.
you log into what is it, like the Call of Duty? I don't know what they call
Oh,
it anymore. Like the hub or whatever. Just have a main hub.
Yeah.
That way everything will just transfer. It would be nice.
Um. But yeah, the as far as like the issues with the servers, then you may be wondering like, did that get fixed? Yeah, it did.
I think I saw
They
something today.
they updated the cap a few days ago to 800,000 players now, I think. So getting into the game is not a difficult thing anymore. Like before, yeah, there was a queue. You'd be waiting forever. Sometimes you'd restart and get right back in, or sometimes you would fucking game would crash, then you try to get back in, you couldn't get back in for hours. Now it seems to be like every time I launch the game, it just gets me right in. Like there's no like wait, there's nothing. It just loads right in. So there's no issue with that anymore. But the game does randomly ever so often it does crash, and I don't know what is causing the crashes. Like I'll be in a mission, we'll be doing a mission for a while, and out of nowhere it'll just crash. I don't know if it's something to do with my CPU. Maybe it's bottlenecking. I don't know. Maybe my GPU is fucking bottlenecking. Maybe my CPU is bottlenecking my GPU. I don't know. But it'll just randomly crash. So I don't know what that's about, Mayo. Just so you know. But
Okay.
you have better shit than I do, so you should be fine.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyways, what have you been playing, Mayo?
Oh, I've same kind of concept almost. Like I've been playing like one game this week, and I think I
Speaking of
have maybe
$10 games, Mayo.
yeah.
I got it when it was $8.
Oh, look at you. I think it might have been $8 when I picked it up. It was on
It was
sale.
$7.99 on sale.
Okay, then I did get it for $8, but it's like $10 now, right?
Yeah.
But
$10 now.
yeah, so I played a lot. Oh, I can't say a lot. I played about 14 hours of this week, and it's Deep Rock Survival. And this is a Deep Rock Galactic based game. If you guys ever played the old one, it was one where you had the 4 different dwarves and you could play 4-player co-op and you did the mining.
Rock and Stone.
Yeah, you had the gunner and you had the scout, and then you had the engineer and the driller, and you would go down there and you'd mine different materials, and then you had to basically, I can't remember how the old one played. You had to get so much materials, right? Didn't you have like a goal? Like you had to acquire this much material, and then the drop ship would come in, and you had so much time to get back to the ship, and there's just hordes of aliens coming in, not aliens, but bugs, coming in, and you're just fighting your way out. And so they made this other game, and it's completely different from Deep Rock. They just kind of changed up almost like your view and everything and the way it plays, and they call it Deep Rock Survival. And it's basically your top down. I don't know if it's like reverse bullet hell or what they call that, but
that's what Ghost Nico mentioned the other day. I think we were talking. He talked about reverse bullet hell. Like I kind of came up with something like on my own where more of a I guess Steam calls it like an auto shooter or something, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much is. It's basically your vampire survivors. Jesus really got into that, and I think you did too, or I know Ryan did. And so you start off, you get just a scout, and he's not just like what you think of a normal scout. Like he's got like decent guns and stuff like that going on. But there's so many like little sub levels in this game. You just kind of you run around and you're collecting XP, right? And when you're killing some bugs, and it'll have like a goal, like you've seen it, Gunny, it'll say like collect 12 of these flowers or whatever. And so you're trying to find those flowers, and you can find them flowers on the mini map, Gunny. They do show up on the mini map in the corner, so you can kind of watch and kind of look for them and know which direction to have. But when you find those, it gives you enough XP and gold to usually gain a level. And when you gain a level, it makes you choose between 3 different options. It could be something like reload speed. It could be damage. It could be like crit chance or crit damage or movement speed. And you just pick what option you want. And so You don't have to do any attacking. Your only object in this whole game is to dodge, basically. But it's also like, it sounds boring, but it's also very entertaining in the same way. Because the dodging can get really tough, and there's always just mounds and mounds of enemies coming at you, and you're just constantly trying to move, and the guns seem to always reload at the most inopportune times. You're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I gotta reload, and you get like this whole swarm like right on top of you, and you're like trying to run for your life. But it's for a $10 game. This game is probably the best $10 game I've picked up, new release in a while. Like, I've gotten games for less than $10 on sale and this and that, but this game is a new release. For $10, it's thought out enough. It's got enough replay. Like, I've seen people. One of my friends who's big into Deep Rock, the original game, he picked it up and he has about 40 hours in this already. So you can probably get a good 40 or 50 hours out of this game for being a $10 game. Kind of hard to beat. You do start off, like I said, with a scout, and then I think after that you unlock the gunner, which is a class I'm starting to like a lot. At first I did the scout gunny all the way up to level, I think like 15 or 14 maybe. And what that does, Gunny, is it gives you a couple of little unlocks. It gives you some new weapons as you go along. So like how you have your normal runs and you get those options of those guns. It'll be like, okay, a new weapon, because you can carry up to 4 weapons total, and you have to choose between like a grenade and the sniper rifle. The scout has a couple other ones. It's like a couple of defense drones and a couple other things. And then you get that weapon, and it permanently unlocks that weapon in your game. Well, then each weapon has like levels. So as you level up, it has a level tree for each weapon, and you can put a point in that tree for that weapon. And the very first time, like I was kind of showing you like last night, like the very first time you have to get to level 12, that weapon, and it becomes like a permanent upgrade for that weapon. Then after that, your next runs, every run after that, if you get that weapon, every 5 levels you get, it does like they do like an overclock, and it'll be like a perk that goes on that gun. And like with a gunner, he has like a Gatling gun. The first perk is like you can shoot through enemies. It has penetration. So like instead of hitting the first enemy and just only focusing on one enemy, it'll shoot through a whole row of them, and you can just do so much more damage with it and stuff like that. But your reload speed is like 25% less, so you reload even slower, and it's already a slow loading gun. But that's what this game is. It's everything is like give or take percentage. So like you level up pretty often, and you just gotta be like, okay, I may get this. Do I want to take reload speed, or do I want to take damage, or do I want to take? There's also fire rate, and how does that affect? I would think sometimes you're gonna like when I'm playing it, it's like, okay, the gunnery reloads really slow. So if I up my fire rate, I'm just gonna spend more time reloading, right? Because it's firing faster. So I'm going through my ammo faster. I might be doing more damage, but I'm going through my ammo so much quicker. I'm spending more time reloading. So if I'm upping my fire rate, I'm usually upping my reload speed as well. And I'm not worried about damage. Typically I just kind of go over damage over the other ones, the reload rate and the fire rate. But I always take damage and then reload and then fire rate. But usually I'll try to take like the crit chance, and then crit damage, because that's nice as well, because you can get up to like 20 or 30% pretty easy. And that's big when you're fighting the bosses. When you get the first biome, there's only 3 biomes so far. The game is still kind of early. I've unlocked all 3 biomes. The first one is just like a normal rock one that you've done. The second biome is like a magma level, so it's got a bunch of spots with magma, and you can't run through it. It burns you, so you take damage. So it starts limiting like where you can run around. So now you have hordes of enemies chasing you.
You can run through it. Like
you can.
But so there's areas where you're like, hey, I need to get over here, but you're going to take damage.
Yes.
Is that how that works?
Or there's a whole swarm of animal, or bugs, and they're pushing you north, and you have lava right in front of you. You can run through that lava, and it's going to hurt you, but you may only take 20 damage, where you may take it may just kill you if you get stuck in that swarm of bugs. But the bugs also take damage when they run through that magma. So like the ones that aren't flying, the ones that are crawling, they crawl through the magma and will catch on fire, and they take fire damage. So you can use it to your advantage as well. So that's kind of nice. But then the flying bug actually won't take. Like you've seen a couple of the
Right.
flying ones, and there's some
Yeah.
other like trash mobs that
Even
fly.
some of the little boss flying little ones. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
they
them just
won't take the
making
damage.
their way over to you. Yeah.
Then on the third biome is basically it has these vines, and there's red ones you can't go around at all. So you just it's like an edge basically. You can't like go there. You can't tunnel through it. You can't do anything. And there's these dead vines that you can tunnel through. You can break them, but they grow back over time. So like you can clear a path, and that path will reclose, and then the bugs will have to run around it. But the bugs can tunnel. There is, I don't know if you did notice or not, Gunny,
Yeah,
when you're
I
playing
noticed
the
that.
big green bug. He's
Yeah.
kind of tanky. He's harder to kill, but they can tunnel, and you can kind of use them to mine for you. So the other aspect in this game I haven't gotten to is you want to mine materials. So there's 2 different materials right away you're looking for, and it's gold, and I can't remember what the red stuff is called. It's
Not the red sugar,
it's
as they
not
say in the
no,
game.
nitro.
So the red sugar is the
Yeah, the
nitro,
red
yeah.
sugar is health. So the other red stuff is called
Yeah.
nitro, and you can use that in between levels. So when you get through the first level, you can go to a store and you can use the nitro and the gold that you found for upgrades as well. So not just leveling in the normal level. The more nitro and gold you have, the more you can level in between rounds as well and get up in higher level. Going into the next one, preparing you way better, you know. But on top of that, there is like 5, I think, rare materials that will spawn in the game, and you can mine those. And those take a little bit to mine, like when you run against them. But when you start collecting those are for like permanent upgrades and off the main menu. That doesn't affect your run that you're doing at that current time. But when when your run is over and you're starting a whole new game, you go back to your menu and it's a permanent upgrade for your character, and you can change like your armor, your reload speed, your damage, how much luck you have. Your luck will change, like what kind of weapons you will get at random, and you'll get different stuff like that. So you can put points in that, but it's a lot of money and it's a very slow grind to getting all that stuff built up, and then you unlock different classes, like I said, and each one has its own benefit. Like when I played the gunner class, once I got done, I played the survivor up to level like 14 or 15. Now I'm about there with the gunner, and the gunner just does so much more damage. Like he can just shoot way faster with that Gatling gun compared to like having a little AR in your scout. But he does not dig very fast, and he doesn't move as fast as the scout does. So you don't get away as easy and stuff like that. So, and then he is a more tanky character. When you unlock his second, like there's another form of class for him. It's like a tank build where he has more armor automatically and all like that. Where the scout, he has a class that has high dodge. So it starts off with like a 25% dodge. You can dodge up, and every once in a while, if a bug will touch you, it may say dodge and you don't take any damage, you know. But there is an achievement I did see, and I guess what the trick of people are doing is you use him and you get your dodge up high, and you play the magma level, and you run across that lava, and it counts as a dodge, and there's like an achievement, and it unlocks a weapon for you if you dodge so many times. So a lot of people are using that, you know, to go in there and get that
Nice.
weapon unlocked. But there's a whole list. If you look at the milestones, Gunny, it tells you what you have to do to unlock those weapons. There's always sorts of different weapons per class. There's just general overclocks and stuff like that. So a lot of variety. It's a game I definitely think you can easily sink some time in, but it's a quick hit game. So if you just only have 10 minutes to play, you can go in there and play 10 minutes and then get out, you know. Or it's another game too. It's not necessarily live, like a shooter or something like that where you're playing online. It is single player only right now, but you could just pause it and walk away, you know. So it's like you can just, it's one of those games you can just play real quick, and if you need to get out real quick, you can. But I wish I was talking to Nico the other day, and I wish this game had multiplayer. I think it'd be kind of a cool aspect, and it would set it
Yeah,
apart
it
from
would.
other games like Vampire Survivor, and Brotato is another one like this. It would set it apart from those if you could play multiplayer and have 2 different people playing 2 different classes, kind of like in the original game. You know, in the game you played 4-player co-op, you could each pick a class and you would benefit with each other. The driller would help, you know, drill the rock quicker for you, and a gunner could maybe help clear the enemies, and you'd use the driller to help, you know, get to the dropship faster and stuff like that. It'd be neat if you could have a 2-player version or a 4-player version of this, and have 4 people go in there mining and make it split screen, or just have your own screen like Diablo would. Like it'd be no different than something like Diablo. You're doing a dungeon run. You get in there with 4 people, maybe up the difficulty, to make it harder because you got 4 people in there. Like go in there and you could play together. I think that would kind of make it entertaining, and it would also just set it apart from the other ones. But so far, I do.
2-player would be good.
I do enjoy this over. Like I did not play Vampire Survivors, but I did play Brotato, and I feel like I like it better because of the mining aspect. It makes it. You got to think about a few more things. You're like grabbing money and you're doing different things, and then you're looking for the other materials for permanent upgrades for your character. So that's something else to consider when you're picking up weapons. And then graphically, it just looks a lot better than what the other ones do. Brotato looked okay. Vampire Survivor looks really rough. It's very much 8-bit. Nintendo
That's
looking
the style,
stuff,
right? But
and that was great, and that was done on purpose. Yeah. But Deep Rock looks like a top-down version of the Deep Rock game that we all know, and so it looks good. It sounds good, and even the voices are kind of like the same. So they kept everything pretty kosher with the original game. But for $10, it's kind of hard to beat. If you're late getting to this, and I'm not sure how many copies this game has sold or how popular it is on Steam charts right now. But I feel like it's got a decent following and stuff because I know quite a few people playing it, and quite a few people on my Steam friends list.
And let's keep in mind, it's like an early access game too.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it hasn't been very long. So, and again, like I said, maybe they'll keep adding to this, and maybe they will add multiplayer or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. That would be something I would like to see myself. But what's that?
I was gonna say I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday actually when I came home from work and went to turn the PC on. But I was like, you know what? Let me because I saw you guys were on Discord, so popped it on the iPad, and what was it? Me, you, Ghost Nico, and I think Niprom was on, and I grabbed I was like, oh yeah, like I forgot what I was gonna play. So then, I was gonna play a game, and Ghost Nico's like, was like, oh, you should get this game, this Deep Rock Galactic survival game. I was like, yeah, I saw that. I was so interested in it, because what have I been playing a lot lately, guys? I've been playing, the Brotato, the games in that genre, right? So, these verse bullet hell games. So then I grabbed this. I was like, oh, I forgot I got the Steam Deck. Like I don't have to go in the room. So grab that. I'm like, it should work on here. Of course, it brought it up in the wrong resolution. And basically, I just went to Reddit and like, oh, okay, just change it to the correct resolution, run it on there, and just played it. It just played perfectly on the controls already on a Steam Deck on the OLED. And I was like, yeah, wow, this game is actually perfect for the Steam Deck, So,
yeah, I actually tried to get it on. I didn't look into it too much. I thought, like, it would be really nice to have this game portable. Like, I got hooked pretty quick on it, and so like I wanted to take it to work and play it on my Switch. And unfortunately, this is not on the Switch or anything like that yet. So, Steam Deck is the only way we're going to play this thing portable, or a ROG Ally or something like that. It's not on the Switch yet, but I'd like to see it come to like the Switch, because this is a good Switch game, or a good portable game, because like I said, it's so easy to pick up and play, and you're just dodging, but there's thinking involved. And
so I'm sure, like, I thought about this, Mayo, because I thought, yeah, playing it on the Steam Deck, then I think the next day later that night, I actually brought it over to the desktop. When I'm playing this is that I'm like, I thought about it. I thought, I wonder if the developers of this game, they probably thought, hey, maybe we could put this on, Apple Arcade, or fuck it, just bring it somehow over to mobile with microtransactions, because that's just how things work on mobile, right? Because it would definitely play on something like that. But I thought, okay, fine, it's early access. I get it. It's cool. They didn't want to release it. They wanted to do something 6 months early. Perfect, right? So yeah, I'm sure once it goes like a 1.0 situation, I'm sure it'll be out on everything. I can definitely see it on everything.
Yeah, hopefully, like I said, the original Deep Rock, I can't remember who made the game, but I remember they were very involved with the community. And they did a lot of updates on Deep Rock. I mean, I don't know how many updates I've had on Deep Rock Galactic. And we had community game nights with that game, and then it came to Xbox, and unfortunately the two didn't have like a cross-play at the time. I don't know if they still do or not, but the developers and stuff, they just continued to do updates in that game and just forever push stuff out for that, and is so they've had a lot of support, and so like I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to do a lot for this game again. Like put a lot of stuff into it, unless they think that this is just going to be a quick hit and get out. I don't know, but I think they will continue to do some updates for this game and come up with some new stuff and keep it enjoyable for a while.
I'm sure they've seen like the success of like Vampire Survivors, right? And like this is pretty much that in a new code of a different style, this right? Because this is like you were talking about with the different upgrades you get during in-game once you level up, right? Because they will throw in luck and level up your weapon, or like you said, reload speed. You get the different options. The other option is the one thing I forgot, Mayo, because I watched you stream it again tonight, and I thought I totally forgot that was there. So even in game, no matter where you're at, once you get to the next level, you can actually re-roll those options,
right?
Which I never noticed before,
and it costs you a couple gold.
I probably won't unless I get 3 commons, and I have enough gold or whatever it is that you use
it requires gold to re-roll. And it's the same way when you exit like the first level, second level, third level, you can re-roll those too. So you can like make a couple purchases, and then you can re-roll it and buy more. So if you have a whole bunch, like if you mine a lot, the very first level, it starts off really slow, right? You go in there, hit those mines, get the gold, get that nitro real quick, and also get those objectives, because those objectives are almost guaranteed a level. So that's like a guaranteed upgrade. So, you can get to like level like 7 or 8 with a gun, by the time you get out of the first level. So, grab that objective if you can. The objective, that level only ends when you kill that first little boss. He like kind of he's not a boss, but he's like a micro boss, I would call him. He's a boss for that level, but he's not like a major boss, because he spawns, and then the longer you take to kill him, the harder the enemies become, and the more enemies you get.
The more swarms.
The guy would tell you, he's like, hey, the swarm's getting really angry, and that means there's just more coming. They take more to kill. And so the longer you take to kill that little micro boss, the harder it's going to be. But sometimes if you feel like you can wait it out, you can go and mine longer, and you just don't want to kill that boss, because he's like chasing you. And he's like chasing you, but you can like try to just basically run away from him, go find some mining. Then when you kill him, because as soon as you kill him, that dropship gives you 30 seconds to get on it, and you have to work your way back to it, or it'll leave you.
Missed it a couple times.
I have missed it a couple times myself, so it does happen where you have to get back. But you have that risk versus reward. Like you can stay out there and keep mining, keep leveling, but the level just gets harder and harder and harder. But it'll set you up for the next level going in, because that level, it doesn't get harder; it starts fresh. And each biome only has 5 levels, so the biggest drawback I would say is probably each biome has 5 levels, and at the end of that level, it has the same boss. So there's 3 different biomes, and all 3 of them have the same boss at the end of each biome. So once you do those, you're only, the next thing you can only do is up the difficulty, and that's where I'm at now. So there's like, I can't remember what level 1 is, what they mentioned it on there, because he's like, oh, this is for me, but I want like the 2nd tier difficulty, and there's like maybe like 5 or 6 tiers of difficulty you can go up to. And so I jumped on the 2nd. And so the biggest thing I noticed in the 2nd tier difficulty is the common bugs. It's not so much those green ones, like the little green ones that die, like they're like a grayish color, or the green, they kind of die pretty quick. And then there's some red ones, they're after that. Then they have some like bigger ones after that. Well, the common ones are almost all red, and so they take longer to kill. So then there's more of them, and they take longer to kill. So like the difficulty on the next level up is just more red bugs, less green bugs, and they're just harder to kill. So you gotta get that damage up quicker, to be able to survive because
there's
they'll
other
overrun you quick.
there's other fun little strategies I found. So now that I'm a gunner level 11, I think I am. I think I've made it to the level 4. Is that where I was at, Mayo? Where I was trying to kill the different eggs or whatever?
Well, yeah, that's the last one. That's the 5th level. So there's like 3
I was
eggs.
at level 5. Excuse me.
Yeah, that was level 5, and then there's 3 eggs, and those will hatch on their own, I think. If not, I know the big egg has the dreadnought in it, and that will hatch on its own. If you take so long, that'll just eventually hatch, right? But there's 3 other littler eggs in the level, and you have to search and find them, and that has like one of those miniature bosses in it. So you have to kill all 3 of those, and then you can damage the big one. So if you go through and find those 3 other ones real quick, and you can break all 3 of them and have to fight all 3 of those mini bosses at once.
I feel like I wasn't even close.
Yeah, when you kill those bosses, once you kill all 3 of them or hatch all 3 of them, you can go down and damage the big egg and get the dreadnought out and fight him as well. The faster you can do all that, the easier it is because there's not as much bugs coming at you, and they don't have as much health, because the swarm gets harder to kill the longer you're in there. So if you can get in there quick, that way you're only dealing with the dreadnought, the big bug, over top of trying to fight hordes and hordes of all the small ones as well. So I try to get in, find those smaller eggs, destroy them real quick, destroy the little mini boss that comes out of those. And I'm kind of, they kind of chase you, right? So as I find the first one, I get him I'm almost kiting him like you would in a MMO as a tank. I have aggro on him and he's like chasing me, and I'm already looking for the next egg. So like while he's behind me chasing me, I usually have a weapon that's kind of shooting backwards anyway. So he's taking damage, and I'm just already scouting and looking for that next egg, so I can know where to break it right away. I don't just like kill that guy and then go look for the egg. I'm already looking for that next one and then going from there. So, but
so one cool fun strategy before that level 5, and you'll find it in the first 4 that I see, where you'll get some of those splody bugs, right? And
oh yes, yeah, that's
those
a
are
must.
fun because you can. One of the things I found where I'm like, you know what, actually, so if I've got a boss, right, and I'm, let's say, I don't know, because you're a low level, right, and you can't just keep turning it around to keep that your weapon kind of pointing in that direction, which is where most of your bullets are going to come from. Where I'm like, oh man, like let me get closer to that splody bug. Not super close, but yeah, it's going to explode. You're going to take a little bit of damage, but it's going to do a ton of damage to like everything around it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I've done a lot of that stuff too, where I'm like, oh, cool, like
I think
just destroyed everything.
It's very satisfying when you have the gunner. That's the class that you're working on. When you get the overclock for the Gatling gun, when it has the piercing, it will shoot through a layer. When you get one of those exploding bugs in the back, like in the middle of the horde. He's not up in the front lines like when you get him to explode typically. He explodes in the middle. It kind of blows up the middle of that horde, and it just chain reacts. Multiple of those exploding ones blow up. It's just like boom, 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 and you have like more XP laying on the ground than you have enemies. You can't even see them under the XP. You're like, holy cow, and it's all. Then you hit that magnet, and all the XP comes flying to you, and you can level like 3 or 4 times. There's a magnet that will randomly appear. And it just sucks all the XP.
I wasn't sure what those magnets were at first, but yeah, once you get them, that's another kind of level up thing that you might get, right? Where increase your pickup radius, right? So
yes,
choose your options carefully, I'd say.
And there's achievements for all that stuff too. And when I say achievements, it's like unlocks. So like I just got one today for having 300 health. And so when you get to 300 health, you get this achievement, but now it unlocks a new weapon in my games. Or a new option. It might not be a weapon. It might be like you get that little drop ship that comes in as well. And you've seen that strategy too, where you have to clear away a little area, and this little drop ship thing will come in, and it'll give you 3 like I don't know, the perks in those I don't really like very well.
I don't care for them. I was gonna say that's the one downside. They're always the same.
You will get more, and so I do have some new ones I unlocked by getting some of the achievements, and I think that's where like. I got one for like standing still, right, and taking and doing and killing so many bugs while standing still without moving, And now I have like this option. And it's like they're like little bullets in the icon. And it's like you do 0.5% more damage per 5 gold you have in your inventory. So the more gold you have, if you equip that, you're going to do more damage. But sometimes you don't have much gold on you anyway. So you're like, okay, I'm not picking that up. The other ones would be like a chance to gain XP while mining. You know, it's like, okay. So I guess if you kind of go in like, okay, I want to go in and level up a gun, like Gunny, like I unlocked a new weapon, right? And you have to get to level 12 on that weapon to get the overclocks. And you want the overclocks. You can't use any of the overclocks on that run you are currently doing. So I get this weapon, it's brand new. I have to get to level 12 to unlock overclocks. Once I get to level 12, I can just die and leave that round. I don't really care. The next time I play the game and I get that weapon, the overclocks are unlocked. So now every time I go up 5 levels, it gets an overclock and gives you a big perk. So each weapon will have a couple of different overclock options as well. So like, I know the one time like the grenade, that cold grenade that you can throw, it's like a grenade that does like cold damage. I have an overclock on that where it will split into 3 and then it becomes 3 grenades that come out, you know, and does so much, it covers so much more area, you know. So it's like you get these little overclocks. So you're like, once you can just make runs where you just purposely go in to unlock a weapon and unlock its overclocks. Or like you got to go in and say, the micro goals are mine 2000 nitro. You know, once you start getting close to that, you're like, okay, I just need to start getting some nitro. So you're just playing through the game, mining that nitro. Okay, it's like now you get this. It shows like the symbol's like a powdered nitro, and it's a new perk you can get when that dropship comes down. So it's like, okay, now I know I have this option in my game. So when I play it the next time, there's chances of permanently getting this new option in there. You know, instead of the same 3 things every time from that dropship.
Yeah.
So, and that's the same way with the weapons, because you start off early. It's with the same couple weapons. The scout has that little gun it starts with, and then you can get like the shotgun, or you can get like a sniper rifle or a grenade. And later on, you start getting defense drones, and you start getting some other stuff that are a little more powerful. And some of them will unlock as you get higher level. I think there's like an unlock at like level 12. Weapon unlocks at level 15. There's unlock at 20, level 24. So like the gun at like 12, level 24, I'm going to assume is really powerful and really nice because it's a higher level gun. And so that'll kind of change up your play. You know, level's the same.
Yeah.
You know, you're starting off the same every time, but you can have different weapons and different stuff like that. And so as though you
It's
get
nice
those new
having
guns.
The little turrets now.
Yeah,
as
you'll
a
get those
gunner.
new guns, and it's going to probably enable you to do higher difficulty rounds. You know what I mean? So instead of us starting on the easiest level, you can bump up the difficulty, and then there's more rewards in that too, I think. So
Nice.
But that's all I've been playing. Like I've just been, like I said, I think I have about 13, 14 hours in this game, and I've been enjoying it. I've barely touched the tip of the of the iceberg on that. It just
Yeah, I'm probably only 4 hours in, but really enjoyed it so far. I'm so glad I picked this up.
and it's so easy. Now I myself actually have been playing this with a controller because you can just one hand run around with a thumbstick and just sit back in your chair. You don't have to use WASD on the keyboard because it's just kind of tiring. You're constantly just hitting it and moving around. I've been using my Xbox controller, and I've just been kicking back and just using the thumbstick just to run around and hit an A button to select whatever upgrade I want. You can just very chill game.
Yeah, super relaxing. So.
And then the only other thing I did is I was bored in the living room the other day, and I fired up Spider-Man 2 the other day and just kind of played a couple of little side missions on that and just unlocking a little bit of stuff. And I kind of forgot how to play it for a minute. Like, well, what's dodge again? And what's this? But I only played it for maybe like 45 minutes to an hour, and then I hop back out. But they do have a new game plus coming out in that, and you're coming up. And so I may want to like maybe 100% the game, or at least get close, and then maybe even fire up New Game Plus because it's supposed to have new suits.
Get that platinum trophy.
Yeah, it's supposed to have some new suits and stuff like that from the New Game Plus. So maybe I'll go back into that game as well. I haven't decided if I want to be it or not, but that's pretty much all I've been playing is just Deep Rock Galactic Survivor.
Yeah.
How about you there,
Nice.
Gunny?
For me, you know what I was just playing here was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. So this is a game that Ryan picked up, and I'm not the biggest platformer kind of guy. Like Dead Cells sort of thing. I could see you playing a lot of this, Mayo. But
I tried the demo.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. It's a little, like the whole dodge and parry and stuff. Like I got to get used to that. Because it's a little frustrating. So I'm just playing on not the rookie one, but the one above it or whatever it's called. I think it's called Warrior. I'm a warrior. That's what I am. But I mean, the game looks really nice, and the story is whatever it is. You're a prince, and you got to go just fuck up a bunch of enemies. But hey, I was able to get past like the first little boss they throw at you, and then they do it again. They'll throw in another one, and but really so far, the one thing that's kind of keep me engaged is it's not like I'm doing combos or anything like that. It's a lot of like on the Xbox controller where it's just a lot of like, okay, left trigger is block. Right trigger is, sort of that dodge slide, and X is your main, weapons. So it's like it's not can't be too hard, right? Like you just gotta learn all those. So just a couple button presses. But yeah, it's just the timing I got to get down. So, but I'll get there. I think I'm gonna try and stick with this and see how far I can get. But if it gets too hard, man, I'm gonna get scared. I'll be out. I'll be like, no, I
Yeah.
can't handle it.
Yeah, it seems like
But-
it's a decent game.
yeah.
It looks good. It's got those kind of Fortnite graphics, but the side scrolling on it looks good. I think Jesus said this game would probably look really cool in ultra wide if it had ultra wide support.
Oh yeah, it would.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't even know if it does or not. But
Yeah, we'll see. I know it unlocks like a bow and arrow. I haven't got one of those yet, or crossbow or whatever it is. But yeah, I'm just used to just rocking the two big swords I got. So pretty cool so far. Yeah, a little bit of Power World, not much. I went to the house this weekend, so I didn't play get to play a lot of that game. I did go back, and I think I might have talked about it last week, where I started a new game on Starfield, where I don't know, I just wanted to start over and just kind of go from there instead of unlocking like 30 different missions, and then not know where to go from there. So I figured I'm still just trying to mainline that story. I did fire it up on the Steam Deck on the Game Pass via the Edge browser. So the one good thing about it, right? It's on a Steam Deck. It already knows the controls, so nothing to set up. Is just easy to play, right? You don't have to grab an Xbox controller. You can just kind of go from there. So since I do have good internet here, it actually started off a little stuttery, but then it like everything kind of smoothed out. So yeah, I found it actually working pretty good for like 20 minutes, moving around planet to planet. So yeah, it was nice not to. Would be nice though to actually have, I know that I don't know which ones actually do it, but you can probably download it natively or something. But yeah, just playing through the cloud was fine with good internet. Actually worked out. And other than that, a little bit of Satisfactory game in there. Get my logistics going slowly but surely. Yeah, I just haven't been, again, into that game like for hours and hours, but I do go back into my own save and play with different mods and just get creative. That's relaxing for me now. Just get in there and build things up and make them look cool, and yeah. That's other than that's all I've been playing, Jesus.
nice.
All right. Let's move on now and talk about some news. It's news time, Gunny. News time.
Beep 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 beep. Nose.
Pentiment, Microsoft's Pentiment, will run at 120 FPS on PS5.
Oh, cool. Wait,
on
what?
PS5.
Excuse me?
but only 60 FPS on Xbox.
So wait. This is an Xbox made game on their own platform, and it only runs at 60 frames. And then they make a game to go to PS5, and it's immediately 120.
Fuck out of here with that.
Yeah, Pentiment, previously an Xbox exclusive narrative-focused game from Obsidian, currently runs better on a PS5 than it does on an Xbox Series X or S. It's apparently a bug that will be fixed, according to the developer.
What?
So
A bug?
so the bug is on the version that's been around for as long as it's been on Xbox.
Wait, it's going to be fixed on where? I'm so.
It's gonna be fixed on the Xbox, Gunny. It's already running better on PS5 than it is on Xbox.
On February 21st, during the Nintendo Direct, Pentiment was announced as one of the first Xbox published games arriving on Switch and PS5, and it launched the next day. And weirdly, on the PS5, the game runs at a higher FPS than it does on Microsoft's consoles. Pentiment on PS5 runs at 120 frames per second currently. On the Xbox Series S and X, it runs at 60 FPS. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, at least the Switch doesn't run it better. That would be embarrassing.
You remember?
That'd be like, oh man, our bad.
You remember when I was on board with like Phil? We're like, hey man, I was like, that's cool because Phil said the console war is over, man. It's done, right? Remember when I was on board with that, Jesus? Where I'm like, everybody gets to play all the cool games. I take that back. The war is on.
So well, here's what I don't get, Jesus. You and I, we both know this, right?
Scared my family out there.
Okay, but if we flip this around, I guarantee if Sony released a game on Xbox, it's going to run better on the PlayStation than it would on the Xbox. Right. I'm pretty sure they would make sure that shit runs better.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Microsoft, get together over
FPS.
there. And that's just weird that they said it's because there's a bug on the Xbox version. It's like, okay, how long has it been out on Xbox? And if they know about this bug, why haven't they fixed it before they put it on the PS5 and let it run better? That's just, I don't know. Like, that's just so bizarre to me. Like, wouldn't you think you'd want to get that ironed out if you're aware of it before you released a game on the PS5, your competitor, kind of?
I can't have my games, man. My games, right? Running better on other platform, my competing platform, for that matter.
So yeah, so that's kind of a weird one. You know, that's just kind of like.
Weird one. But it is a 2D game that doesn't really require.
And I know like the Xbox really can do it. Like you said, it's a 2D game. It's nothing really too graphics intensive or nothing like that.
Well, I don't know. Does it?
Odd.
Yeah. Does the series? How does that work? Does the Series S also have 120?
Nope.
Does that matter? Right? Where the X does? I don't even know.
Well, the X doesn't even have 120 yet.
Neither of them do.
Yeah, just the PS5.
So, no wonder it runs better. I mean, well, it runs at that resolution. Yeah. Hurts.
Other news, moving on now, Battlefield news. Battlefield game director Marcus Leto, the game director at Ridgeline Games, has already left EA and his studio after just 2 years at the company. This news comes from Twitter, posting screenshots of his account or whatever that says he left his job at Electronic Arts in 2024 in Seattle, Washington. So who's that? Yeah.
So is this the guy that's responsible for the new version of Battlefield and what it was? And do you think it was on his own terms?
I think so, yeah.
Do you think it was on his own terms? Do you think the Battlefield people were like, after such a dismal game, like it's come around.
But like didn't he open a new studio as well? I believe he opened a new studio under EA under a different, I don't know, something.
Yeah, he was working under a different studio, Ridgeline Games under EA.
I remember when you announced that, Jesus, on the show. I was like, oh,
apparently, cool. He's no longer working there.
Damn.
And in a recent earnings call with the EA people, like EA said that they were working on their next Battlefield, which is going to be a reimagining of Battlefield, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. In other news, one more news here, guys. Skull and Bones.
Everybody's favorite game. The first quadruple A title, right?
First quad. Yeah, that is a fact.
We should all be owning and playing this.
So, Skull and Bones apparently has only seen about 850,000 players total since launch last week. And that number includes free trial users.
Ouch.
Insider
ouch.
Gaming
Yeah.
spoke with sources about metrics for Skull and Bones, discovering the pirate game has failed to reach 1 million players so far. Why that's particularly concerning for Ubisoft is the fact that there's a free 8-hour trial of Skull and Bones available on all platforms. However, supposedly people who set sail on the title are averaging roughly only 3 to 4 hours of playtime daily. So there's that. For comparison, 2 other games that have released this year. One of them is Power World.
Well, that's
It had
kind of a
2 million
big.
concurrent,
That's a
2 million
drastic
concurrent players on
comparison,
Steam.
though.
And it has a 25 million players overall in total. While this month, Helldivers 2 has surpassed 400,000 concurrent players total.
Yeah, both of those two games that you listen to are big hits right now. You know, like that's kind of
Yeah.
unfair comparison. Like throwing those two out there, like those
Hey
two
man,
are like
Right.
no,
lightning in a
how is it an
bottle.
unfair comparison with the
I do know it is a
quadruple
quadruple
A
A
game?
game. I know, right?
Listen, how is that an unfair comparison?
I'm just saying
Right? It's
those
like
two games are
you're
it right
comparing
now.
your Camaro to a 1990 Honda Civic, Mayo, and that Honda Civic beat your Camaro.
No.
So tell me, how is that an unfair comparison? Huh?
Not saying okay, unfair is the wrong word, but he's comparing two games that were really popular,
Well, they're
no matter
all new
what,
games,
right?
Mayo.
Right?
They're all
Yeah, they
new.
are. But
Yeah,
I
man,
mean,
they're all new games, Mayo. It's
But
not
the new
unfair.
hotness.
There's
he's
nothing
taking the
unfair
top,
in the world.
the top of the top. You know, one of them was breaking records, so like you can compare it to something else. And that game was out there breaking records, but even then, we could compare it to
comparing
games.
Comparing it to Helldivers 2, a $40 game.
Right. I mean, you can probably compare it to Deep Rock Survivor, and it's probably got less players than Deep Rock Survivor. I actually tried to look at Steam charts, and it's not working for Deep Rock Survivor. But, yeah, things aren't good over there in Skull and Bones area, are they?
You think
It must
Ubisoft?
not.
You think Ubisoft will announce that they're gonna fucking shut down that studio?
So I better get in and play my free trial.
Yeah,
Like,
you might want to.
Reluctant.
Maybe you'll
I've
bump
been
up.
reluctant, but I'm gonna do it.
You'll bump up their numbers, man.
I think
I'll
Ubisoft
try to
is
do it this
just
weekend.
in trouble in general. Like, if it wasn't for
I
Assassin's
know what you're
Creed,
thinking. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of THQ.
yeah,
If you remember THQ before they went under in, what was it, 2016 or whatever, 2017 they went under? Before they went bankrupt and fucking shuttered the company or whatever. That company was $1 billion company, dude. They literally posted that they made over $1 billion.
They were doing
And then
good.
they were doing really good. But you know what they were doing, Gunny? Is they kept licensing shit. So they're the ones that had they had all the Disney licenses, the Nickelodeon licenses.
Yep.
They had Cartoon Network licenses. They were the ones making all those
They were competing with like Activision. I remember.
They made like the SpongeBob games, the car games, the fucking what else? Like the Nickelodeon games. They used to make all that shit.
Yeah, they
But
would
the
spit
problem
those things out.
But the problem was they didn't know how to like double down and just focus on one thing. They had too many things going at once to the point where like their company was losing so much money they couldn't figure out how to right the ship. And they fucked up and they made that tablet thing. Remember that U draw crap?
I remember that.
Right? It was really successful.
They made thousands of those things.
It was successful on the Wii, but then when they brought it to the Xbox and PlayStation, it flopped. So they kind of fucked up on that, and then that kind of really was the nail in the coffin for them. That's when they couldn't reverse course, and they lost all their money, and they were like, "Oh fuck, we're gonna file for bankruptcy," and they had to close the doors. And to me, that's kind of what Ubisoft is doing. They have too many. They don't have a focus, and they have a lot of licenses. They have They have all the Tom Clancy license, dude. With that license alone, you can make Navy SEAL games, you can make Rainbow Six games, you can make fucking anything Tom Clancy, dude. You can literally make any kind of military fucking game and call it Tom Clancy's blah 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 and fucking put it out there, you know. And they know how to make these games because they've made them in the past. They made good shooters and good military games in the past with Ghost Recon. But ever since Siege came out, it's like they don't want to make another shooter. They just want to keep
Yeah,
on
saw the
Siege. They
article
want to.
today.
They want
Jeez.
that
They wanna
games for
stay
service,
on
whatever you
Siege.
call it. They just want you to keep playing the same game
Yeah,
forever,
That's it.
and they don't want you, they want microtransactions, and they just don't give
That's
us
the problem.
anything. I don't see. They have not given me anything. I've been like, oh, I'm excited to play this.
I need
Everything
to
they
play
release,
this.
everything they release is like, I've played that game before. I've played
Yeah.
something similar before. I have not seen anything I think is innovative from them or new
Yeah.
from them. You know, I mean, okay, we got Watch Dogs, big open world, kind of game. You got Assassin's
you have a
Creed,
trilogy.
big open world kind of
There's
thing.
another
You got,
trilogy. Yeah.
I mean, they have like one of each genre. They have like a racing game, then you have Assassin's Creed, then you have your shooter, but they haven't changed anything in any of those games. And when they make out a new game, it's just
Yeah.
more of the same. Like,
It is, and I agree with you. I think that they really need to get in there and be like, look, okay, we're gonna make a new division, but this new division needs to have something new in it. Like,
yeah,
you
it
can't
be
just make a new division.
2 with new
No,
graphics or a new background, new environment.
This is Division 3 and it's now set in Seattle, or this is Division 3 and is now set in London.
And it's going to be a live service game, so it's never going to end. And you're
Oh,
just going to
yeah.
always play with friends, and you're going to always
and it's
buy
the same
DLC
shit,
and
the same
buy
shit
DLC
you did before.
and go from
All
there.
in London, everybody went down. The economy went down, and everyone, you've been activated as an agent. Okay, cool. You got
They
this
already made that
premise
game.
set up,
Why
but
would they?
like, what can you do now? Like, tell me, what can they do, man? I don't know what they can do to right their ship. Like, to me, they need to stop supporting Rainbow Six Siege, and say, look, we're bringing out a new Rainbow Six game, that is going to improve on Siege, but is actually going to have a campaign that's decent as fuck. And we're still going to support Siege a little bit. Still going to have support. Still going to have the esports shit. We'll still have a team to that. But we're making a Rainbow Six game just for the people that want to experience a Rainbow Six SWAT game.
Or they could build
you
off
know?
that IP and just do something a little different. It doesn't have to be a competitive shooter like Rainbow Six is. They could leave Rainbow Six like it is, keep it for the esports, keep it for those diehard fans.
Yeah.
But like you said, they could make a single player game of Rainbow Six somehow with those characters in it. Or something. I know they've tried it. Like what was that one game they did? Some kind of extraction game. What was that
Yeah,
game?
that's that alien one.
Yeah, wasn't it Rainbow
called
Six?
Rainbow
Oh, yeah, it was kind of a
But
flop, wasn't it?
It was a flop,
Wasn't it-
like it just
Wasn't
felt
it
like
called Extraction?
yeah, I think it was. It just they could do
you play
something
it on
with
the
Rainbow
Ubisoft
Six.
Pass or whatever.
Give us a good action game or something like that, or do something that gets us excited to play it. Like to me, and they just every time they release something, I'm like, okay, I don't need to play that. I think the only game that they've come out with in the last while that I thought was any good or I wanted to try was that the Crew Motorfest. Again, that's like
Yeah,
a third
was that the
installment of a
second
game,
one?
and it was very
You said
much
the
like
second one was good, right?
the second one was okay, but this new one, the Motorfest one, is the third one, and it's a lot like Forza Horizon, so that was pretty cool. But it's competing with Forza Horizon, who kind of like made that kind of game, like the Forza Horizon, and
They own that, yeah.
they perfected what they're doing in that game over there. Playground Games did that over there, and now Ubisoft's like, oh well, let's just make a game like it, but you can make it incredibly like it, but you're gonna go play the better version, and that's really still the Forza version, So that was kind of a
yeah. And with the Assassin's
too.
Creed series, I haven't seen any innovation on that either. Like that game is similar, man. It's
And I
just new, samey.
I get the newest one, was it Mirage, where they went back to the old style. But I'm just, again, as soon as I started playing it, I was like, okay, this is like Assassin's Creed 1 I remember playing. I forgot to mention when I was talking about what I've been playing, I did actually open my Ubisoft launcher, and it's very rare I open that thing, right? I had to look up, I have my password saved on my computer. I had to look at my password even to figure out how to log in that launcher. And I installed Black Flag, because we talked about how that game may even look better than Skull and Bones, especially like on PC. And I fired it up and just played it for a couple of minutes. I wasn't really liking the way it looked and stuff. It did look a little dated to me, like some of the.
Yeah, it's a little old at this point.
I didn't realize how old the game was either, But in the graphic settings, they had a couple annoying things on the PC, and the biggest one was it wouldn't let me run in windowed mode. So I was trying to stream the game to Ghost Nico in Discord, and I couldn't tab out of the game to get to Discord to stream my screen because it doesn't have a windowed mode. It would not let me out of it. It was such a pain. And then, Jesus, the game only supported 60 frames no matter what I did. There was no unlocked frame. Like, I could do different resolutions, but every resolution was locked at 60 frames. And this game's an older game, so PC is going to be able to run a crazy frame rate on it. But no, I ran on 1440p, 60 frames. I'm like, ooh,
so
this
maybe, maybe it would be a different if you had the Steam version of it.
Assuming
they put it on Steam at the time.
I don't know if it's any different from Steam, or if you launch on Steam, it takes you to the Ubisoft store, I think.
Yeah,
that's right.
But and they don't even sell Black Flag on the Ubisoft store anymore. So because it's gone, I don't know if it's because Skull and Bones is out or not, but they don't even sell it on their end. It was starting to look a little dated, but right away, I played that game for a couple minutes, and Jesus, I don't think you played this game, but you would maybe remember, you start off on this little pirate ship, right? And you kind of crash, and you end up on this island, and you're chasing this Assassin's Creed type assassin. And so I'm just like running through, and I'm trying to chase this guy, and you see this little eagle vision thing on the map. What do? You climb to the top, you hit A, all of a sudden you synchronize with the whole entire little area, and you can jump off of it, and you'll fall into a little haystack thing. I'm like, yeah. And I know that's like their trademark, but I'm just like, it just was immediately like, okay, I'm done. I already know I don't want to do this. I've done this 9 billion times already.
You got to do that. You got to do it 50 more times.
That game was cool though, with the pirate combat, like the actual being on the ship and sailing around with your crew, and like
it had some kind of weird, like I was using a controller, like
fighting them.
You had to hit like right trigger, and it would like help you lock on or attack, but you had to like pan your camera in a way. It was kind of weird how it worked, but it was different at least.
It was fun though. I really liked that game. I thought that game was cool
at the time.
And people were complaining that they made the combat worse than that Skull and Bones. Like they fucked it up.
So it's just,
they're like, if they just would have stuck with that combat, they would have been just fine.
They just need to do.
But
something different.
I don't know what the fuck's going on with Ubisoft. It's like they're pumping out all these games. They don't know what the fuck to do, and to me, it spells trouble for them, because at the end of the day, people stop buying their games, they're gonna go bankrupt. They're gonna lose all their money.
Well, now they're trying to get their money through subscriptions. They're encouraging us to just get their subscription, and I don't think that I wonder how many people have it.
Not enough, I don't think. I think Ubisoft is gonna be in trouble, dude. I think really, I say few more years.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They're probably gonna really be like, holy fuck, we got to close down all these studios, because Ubisoft is not a small company, dude. They're huge. They're one of the biggest publishers out there. Literally, they have studios all around the world. They have studios in China and fucking Europe. They have them everywhere, and they don't. I don't think they know. They don't even know what the fuck to do at this point. They're probably just like, fuck, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We don't know these games are coming out, and people aren't buying them. People aren't supporting us. People don't like them. What the fuck are we gonna do? So they're probably going to try to go back and try to make another Assassin's Creed. And they're going to go back and try to make another fucking Division. But at a certain point, people just stop supporting that, right? People would just say, like, nah, like, this is boring. We don't want to do this anymore. And
that's what it was. I enjoyed the Assassin's Creed games. Like, when Origin came out, I love that game, how they kind of changed how it
what
played.
They need to do with Assassin's Creed, in my opinion, is they need to go back to a different time. So they've done in the past where they've done the Italian Renaissance era with Ezio. They've done the Viking with the other guy. They've done the Pirates with the fucking Assassin's Creed 4. They've done Egypt, I think twice now. Isn't the new one also in Egypt or somewhere like in the
Middle
East?
Origin was, right? And then
Origin was in Egypt. They've done Greece with the other one, Odyssey. So they need to go to like Roman fucking times. They need to do something like.
I know it all has to be like.
We're going back to like Roman times now. Like fuck it. Like we need to do different shit. Like Make it to where you're fighting like fucking knights and shit or something. You know, like they have to do something, Gunny. 'Cause
Yeah.
what do you do?
Or what do you think about? I know it has to be something
So-
to do with like history, though. I think it'd be kind of cool to do like a cyberpunk or like a whatever kind of, I can't think of the name of that type of game right now, but
Like
literally,
a modern one or a future one?
yeah, do like a future one or something like that, where it's like, you know,
I mean,
like a
they
cyber
could,
world.
but the problem with that is
because I know it messes up
people
our
will
story.
start people will start comparing it with. The problem with that is people will start comparing it with Watch Dogs
Yeah. Or what about
and
some kind of
Cyberpunk.
new IP where you're playing a single player game in a cyberpunk type city?
That'd be
They're
cool.
good at
Yeah.
they're good at big open world games. Make a GTA type game in, you know, like a cyberpunk type world, maybe. You
That
know,
would be fun.
but keep it third person so it's different from cyberpunk.
But
you know?
Yeah.
but definitely like I would say on top of that, Mayo, like make sure it's like not like a Watch Dogs, right? But it
Yeah,
you know,
you can
it's
make
a
it
new
different
IP,
from Watch
new
Dogs.
story.
Make it
Yeah, it's not
more
there's no
outlandish
hacking.
and a little more, you know, because Cyberpunk 2077 is pretty out there, you know. If you could do something in that or like steampunk, you know, do something in like a
Yeah.
steampunk era or something like that. I don't know, just try something different or give us like an Assassin's Creed like
Because they've done different shit with Assassin's Creed. They've done it to where they had the
those little side
they've done
scrollers.
it. They've done it to where they've done the side scrollers. They've done it to where they've had the big open worlds. They've done
What
it to where
about
they've had it to where
got it.
like
I-
year.
Yeah.
And they've also
I
done
forgot about the side scrollers.
they've also done the switching character thing. They've done that with the brother and the sister in that one game.
Mhm.
They've also done the 4-player co-op where there's 4 assassins in like you're playing with 3 other people in the same world. So they've done it multiple times where they've switched it up.
I've got it, Mayo. I've got it. Assassin's Creed, reverse bullet hell,
No,
right? You're climbing. I don't know.
no,
Right?
it's already
thinking
canceled. No, you're
You can
canceled.
level up,
Get out of this meeting, Gunny. You're
Roguelike.
fired.
roguelike.
No, Gunny, you're just throwing words out there, Gunny. That's not how you develop this shit.
He sounds like he's already working for Ubisoft.
I know. He's just out here throwing random fucking buzzwords.
Pick up different weapons.
Yeah, give us something. What about like a reverse thing? They could do like as weird as it would be, like some kind of like, Jesus, you like your little strategy games, right? Make an Assassin's Creed strategy game where you're like a ruler and there's some guy trying to assassinate you, like the game will throw it like something like the Jurassic Park game, right? Where you're like a person building like an empire or whatever, and there's these supposedly assassins coming after you, and they're like sabotaging your stuff, and you're kind of like competing against them in a way. You know what I mean? Like something,
Cool.
you know, like you're a person you're the opposite. You're the guy they're trying to like disrupt,
You're the guy trying to kill the assassins.
and you know, and stuff like
Because
that.
they're called the Templars in the game, right? That's who their main enemy is
Yeah.
the Templars or whatever. So yeah, they need to do that.
I'd want to
They
see
need
more
to
Templars.
also they need to come out with the new Ghost Recon that's not Wildlands like. Not like a Wildlands or not a fucking Breakpoint. I don't want any of that. Give us an old school Ghost Recon.
It used to be like old school shooting Ghost Recon, right? It was like Advanced Warfare or whatever.
Yeah.
Advanced Warfare.
Advanced
Yeah,
Warfare
all
was fun.
those were cool as fuck. They need to come out with some of that. Go
They
back
had
to
fun
old
little
school.
multiplayer maps,
And then they
Yeah.
just like shelved Splinter Cell, you know, like
Yeah, no Splinter Cell forever now. Like that was
And
the
people-
last one was a good game.
people like those games, you know, like okay, we're
Fuck
gonna
yeah, the last
shelve
one was
those,
fun as
you
hell.
know. Yeah, so those decisions
So
they make over there, I'm
stupid.
like, I mean, why not try it? You know, they keep throwing stuff at all these games. Why not just try to bring a Splinter Cell back? You know, why
No,
not?
instead they're gonna spend 10 years making a stupid pirate game that flops.
Right.
Yeah. I know. We thought it was dead. I mean, I was waiting for the announcement to come out, you know, after Sea of Thieves or something like.
I think right now they
you
could
know, 6 months from now we're going to see him come out with an announcement that it's been shelved.
they could have dropped a
Indefinitely.
trailer just showing like Sam Fisher, and it would have got more hype than what Skull and Bones would have.
Oh yeah.
at release.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Just
they
a
could have
trailer.
fucking, yeah.
You know what I
They
mean?
could,
People would have been
yeah,
like talking about
literally.
that.
They could have just announced a fucking Splinter Cell game, and it would be more hyped than this bullshit that they
So I
have
think
out right
I
now.
was reading an article, Jesus, about how Michael Ironside, who voices, the in Splinter Cell, like, so then he was saying like, he had, what did he have? I don't remember if it was lung cancer or throat cancer. It was something, right? But now I assume like it was like he's healthy now. This might have been a while back, but I still haven't heard anything about a Splinter Cell
It's
game. So I'm
fine.
like,
Get a new voice actor. You don't have to use the same
It
guy.
doesn't have to be. Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
have to be the same character. You can make a whole new fucking spy. This is the
Right.
new guy that's replacing Sam Fisher. He's the new guy. He's Sam
What did
Sam
the
Whiskers. I don't
yeah.
fucking know, man.
What
Like,
did Wolfenstein? Remember they did the
It could be
daughters.
Will Fisher. It
This
could be his
this could
son.
be Sam Fisher's son.
Or his daughter.
You know,
His daughter's in the game.
yeah, his daughter is the new spy or whatever the fuck. There you go. Boom, boom. Now you got a woman as the main character. It's inclusive. And she's also a transgender woman, so she identifies as a man. So she's a man and a woman. Now you got
Right.
both. And then she's also
She's got
gay,
purple
but
hair.
not really.
That's
Yeah.
Sarah Fisher, Jesus. She's a member of the fourth echelon and is a character in the elite squad.
See? Put her in the fucking game, goddammit. Anyways, moving on now to more news. This is some PC news for the PC gamers out there. The latest software from NVIDIA, simply named the NVIDIA app Mayo, is tailored for both desktop and mobile users, drawing parallels with AMD software in its naming. This all-featuring tool merges the new control panel, the GeForce Experience, and RTX apps into a single user-friendly interface. This tool aims to streamline the NVIDIA GeForce software experience, incorporating a modern control panel and ensuring regular updates of functionality reminiscent of GeForce Experience. Interestingly, though, the GeForce Experience is being integrated into this new software, creating a unified control center similar to AMD's Radeon software and Intel's Arc Control. Borrowed from Experience are integrated optimizing tools. Users no longer need to navigate through various options in the control center. Instead, they can utilize a single app for their game optimizations. The software offers users the flexibility to adjust settings on a per-app basis or globally. Another cool addition is the enhanced driver information feature. Users will now receive more than just prompts about new updates. They will also be informed about the specific changes and whether it's worth installing them. Many of the newest driver releases target the newest games that some simply don't have. Having this information in hand can help users decide whether they want the driver installed or not. NVIDIA has also given a facelift to the in-game overlay. Within this feature, gamers can capture screenshots, record gameplay, and apply game filters for streamers. Additional capabilities for handling the microphone are included. The overlay now offers more customization options, allowing users to toggle off unnecessary telemetry display if they prefer to use a cleaner interface. NVIDIA is also shedding light on the RTX HDR feature for games, a detail previously uncovered in recent drivers and now confirmed as a filter within the NVIDIA app software. This feature allows users to effortlessly apply the RTX HDR filter through the overlay app, simplifying the process of enhancing visual experience in supported games. So there's that, Mayo. If you want like fake RTX, there's
So
that.
yeah, you can do fake
Nice.
HDR on a standard definition game. So if you have SDR, and you can literally do a fake HDR. So
Yeah,
on any old game, like any game you want to go back and play,
any game. Yeah,
you can
just
just
fucking toggle it
turn
on.
on NVIDIA HDR. Like,
Yeah.
There you go, Gunny.
this app is out,
Hobo
Jesus, now
HDR, I
on
like it.
beta.
That'll be
I do
nice.
have it downloaded. The recording options are nice too. It lets you do 4K at 120.
Wow.
So that's kind of cool. What I have read on this as well, it is going to replace the GeForce Experience, and it's also we all have it. It's going to also, at least the NVIDIA users, it's also going to replace the NVIDIA control panel that we have. So it's all going to be integrated into one. Yeah. There's so many features that they offer that nobody really utilizes or uses.
Ever, yeah.
There's so many that I don't even think about using. Like the photography where you can take game pictures, or you can like freeze the game and you can literally move the camera around and change the angle and everything. Like some of that stuff is some crazy stuff how it works. And it's really nice features, but just stuff I just don't use. Like um I don't use shadow play or anything like that, or record or anything like that, but it's there if you want it, and it's gonna be an all-in-one app now, and they're just kind of changing how they do things, and it looks good. It looks nice and clean, and it also has like GeForce Experience for the ones that don't use it. It goes per game, and you can adjust the graphics settings right there, or they can do recommended. So if you don't understand how to change the graphics and you don't know what you want, you have a
Yeah.
slider for performance or graphics. You slide it back all the way to one side for performance, and it's going to change all the settings for you for maximum frame rate. Or if you want a recommended, this is what everybody's kind of like the sweet spot. It'll take you to that sweet spot, and if you want to go above and beyond and have the best looking game possible, you drag it all the way to one side of quality, and you go from there, so
Yeah.
it keeps it
Nice.
simple and keeps some of your games all in one spot and do well, and you can launch your games from there and everything. So check it out, Jesus. It's in beta now. So
How do I do it, Mayo? Because I'm on it now, but I don't see any other settings. Do I have to go to the website?
yeah, I just downloaded. I haven't launched it yet. I just been reading up on it, but it is available, and I downloaded it today, and I haven't launched it yet. But yeah, if you just Google the NVIDIA app, it took me to the NVIDIA page, and right away it just said you can download the app now.
Okay.
And it's just
Yeah,
in a
it
beta.
looks pretty clean. I like the new interface on it. So
In
even though I
other
don't buy it,
news, Supermassive Games is entering a consultation period, which it expects will result in layoffs. That's right. They've announced they're entering a consultation period as a part of reorganization, which it anticipates will end in staff layoffs. In a statement shared to Twitter, Supermassive referred to the wider challenges that the games industry is currently facing and noted that we aren't immune to this. It added that many efforts have been made before this decision to avoid this outcome, and that the decision has not been made lightly. They said, quote, "It's no secret that the games industry is currently facing significant challenges, and unfortunately we aren't immune to this. After much deliberation and with deep regret, we are therefore undertaking a reorganization of Supermassive Games. As a result, we're entering into a period of consultation, which we anticipate will result in the loss of some of our colleagues. This is not a decision that has been taken lightly, with many efforts made to avoid this outcome." They also went to acknowledge how unsettling and difficult the process will be for the staff and confirm that the company will be working closely with all those involved to make sure that things are conducted as respectfully and compassionately as possible. Supermassive will continue their focus on their strengths as well as their upcoming games to ensure that the company remains sustainable, they said. At the time of writing, Supermassive Games hasn't publicly stated how many people it expects could be affected by this, but Bloomberg has leaked that around 150 members of staff are at risk of layoffs, with roughly 90 expected to be laid off completely. So there's that. But yeah, more layoffs in the gaming industry. Not a surprise, man.
Yeah, we hear it a
The
lot.
it's a
industry
lot.
keeps going, doesn't stop. Speaking of layoffs, though, PlayStation seems to not be laying off people in their hardware department because the PlayStation Portal has continued to exceed their expectations, they said. So, in an interview looking back at the making of the cloud based handheld, PlayStation Vice President of Product Management Hiromi Wakai talked about the thinking behind the machine and its performance and dropped some hints on how well it's been doing. He said, "Although we don't have any numbers to share, the demand has continued to exceed our expectations." Wakai offers other details, but does say that PlayStation was not surprised by some of the initial skepticism around the device. He said, "From the beginning, PlayStation Portal was intended to be a product best suited with people with specific needs and those who want to play in a specific way. So the reactions after the announcements were very much within our expectations." Uh, she also said the device was never intended to be a dedicated handheld and that the initial discussions focused on how to expand console game experience, not launch a separate handheld device. So there's that. They said, although they don't have any numbers to share, the demand has continued to exceed their expectations.
Great. I'm glad for the success of this. And and we had J1220 on last week talking about this device because I was a little confused. Like, where do you play this thing? Like, is it just your home network? He goes, nope, just anywhere you can find good
Just
internet.
any network, yeah. So he just has to have
Good
his
Wi-Fi,
PS5 on
good
at home,
network.
right? And it
Yeah,
sends
good
it from his
Wi-Fi.
PS5 as a server,
I'm assuming
basically.
maybe a good hotspot would work too, right, on your phone.
Yeah.
In other news, Sony is looking to make their latest PlayStation VR headset more useful by allowing folks to run PC games on it. The company said that it's currently testing the ability for PSVR 2 players to access additional games on PC to offer even more game variety in addition to the PSVR 2 titles available through the PS5. Sony hopes to roll out the PC support for PSVR 2 later this year and said to stay tuned for more updates. Official PC support is something that many of the enthusiasts of this VR headset have been hoping for, and for the most part, a great virtual reality headset is the PSVR 2. Modders have been working on ways to make the device work with the likes of Steam VR, but official support will make things much easier. Despite Sony announcing PC support plans in a blog post detailing some of the titles that are on the way to PSVR 2 on PS5, it is hard to argue that the headset has an especially strong library of games as things stand. Sony itself has only released 3 VR experiences for the platform since it debuted a year ago. In fact, the company has not announced any future first-party games for the PSVR 2, and the lack of backward compatibility with the PSVR titles limit the current headset's library too. Some notable developers have also been noted having cold feet about making PSVR 2 versions of their projects. Um, so the studio behind VR social space Rec Room says porting the game to PSVR 2 would be too expensive. So there's that.
Yeah,
But
Jesus. You know what? I was going to mention that when you first announced this, I mean, we knew it was coming, but when you first announced the specs and what it's going to do and everything, remember I was on here going, why is this not going to be compatible with PC? Wouldn't that be the smartest move?
yeah,
It's exactly what I said.
Yeah, but I mean, is it still gonna sell units? I mean,
Right, it's not going to be the huge game changer, but I thought, okay, if
if
right
you
for the
have
number of
one,
people
yay. But
that have a PC, whether it's a 1070 or a 4090, and they see this device like, oh, it's coming out in November, great. Like for me, like I would be like more reluctant to, I'd be more enticed to buy this device. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like, especially if like, okay, oh, they're only going to come out with 2 AAA titles and maybe other few handful of games. And I know they did bring, what do you call that when you bring a game from like PS4 to PS5, like more, you know, what I'm saying? So they did bring some games over, right? You can't go backwards, but they brought them over, ported them basically over to the
right,
PS5. So they did do that because I've heard some podcasts where they're like, yeah, they finally brought it over to the actual store in the 5 so I could actually play it on my PSVR 2, right? Had to buy it again, but still, you were able to, or pay for the upgrade. But yeah, I just thought it was a dumb move on their part to say, to not mention it at least, I think they
yeah.
knew
I just don't think
that
it's
they
gonna
were going to
sell.
do
And
this.
I don't think it's gonna sell any more PSVRs. It's still directed towards Sony users. It gives them more stuff to play, but I mean,
I
I
think it
kind of
would
feel
have
like
just gave it more
this. I
life.
kind of feel
Yeah,
like
if they
it's
would have.
dead. I kind of feel like PSVR is dead. What do you think, Jesus?
I think so too.
I think it's. I think Ubisoft should be running it over there, and they should be walking hand in hand. Like grab my arm, Ubisoft. We're gonna walk in this together.
We're going
Like
to announce the next Splinter Cell game on the PSVR 2. Okay, there you go. Now it's going to move
yeah.
some actual head units here.
Yeah, we can ride off the sunset together. We'll make a VR version of Assassin's Creed. They already did that. Never mind. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And
PSVR, I feel like it was a mistake. I don't know. I don't know if they'll admit it or not, but I don't know.
But do you agree with me, Mayo, right? If they would have just said it like I fucking said it when they first said that, okay, we do the details, right? Like when when Mayo Jesus came out and said, "Here are the details on it," and I thought, "Oh, cool. Like it's more like the Oculus. It's gonna have, it's more improved unit." And I was like, "Okay, what about PC support?
Yeah.
Right? Since they're not really coming out with because there were more games on the Oculus at the time, right? If you remember, when was this? A year ago, right? So I remember this. I was like, they should have fucking announced it, But here it is now, a year late.
Yeah.
In other news, move on to some more news here. Developers are expressing uncertainty over Apple Arcade's future. That's right. Speaking to mobilegamer.biz, sources voiced concerns about Apple's game subscription services in the wake of the iPhone maker reportedly canceling projects, cutting developers' payouts, and turning its back on original games. During the first few years after the service launched in 2019, it's claimed that upfront payments for Apple Arcade games were high enough that most titles were profitable from day one, but these have since been cut. Bonus per play payments were also originally said to be very generous, but these reportedly started falling in the late 2020 and have continued to do so in the years since. We're going to see that amount and decrease and decrease and decrease until it's pennies, said one developer. At that point, putting the game on arcade starts to become much less viable. One source claimed Apple canceled a shitload of projects and pissed off a lot of people as part of their service reboot in spring of 2021. A strategy shift has seen Apple largely stop greenlighting original games for the arcade. It's claimed instead, however, now it's exclusively commissions family-friendly licensed titles based on popular IPs. Some developers who met Apple to discuss putting their games on the service said they were less confused about the arcade's direction. One reportedly said that it had the smell of death around it, while another told the site, "I thought this says they didn't really know what they were going with it at all. It's almost like they weren't sure if they have jobs at the end of it." So there's that. However, another source claimed that Apple was considering rebooting the service entirely in the face of Netflix's entry into the game subscription space. And others said they have positive experiences working with Apple on arcade, with one saying the service has made premium games viable on mobile. So there's that. And I know that Apple is fucking around and trying to make that thing popular. I don't know what's gonna take. I wonder if at some point they're gonna be make a deal with I don't know, a big publisher, right? And just bring a big title over to the arcade.
You
You
nailed
know,
it right there
because
because
they have,
What do you mean, like
because they
include in
have,
the arcade? Because they have some big titles now, right?
yeah.
Because they have Death Stranding or whatever, right?
a
That can be played.
couple.
But is Death Stranding part of the arcade? It's
No,
not.
I don't know.
no.
No.
I have access to the
Either is
arcade,
Resident
so.
Evil, but Jesus nailed it because I've had this subscription now, I think twice.
Yeah.
I think I had it for whatever
But if they
period.
say they added Death Stranding to it, or they've added Resident Evil, or they added Star Wars KOTOR, or they added Minecraft, or something like that to the arcade part of it.
Yeah, or they
Wouldn't
had
that
a better
just boost the
partnership
service?
with, like you said, the bigger publishers to say, "Hey,
Yeah.
can you? Let's say your next. What are you working on? What's your next game?
Yeah.
Oh, is it a new, like you said, another new Star Wars game or whatever? Can we do something here on Apple?
Yeah.
Fucking
Bring it over to
arcade or
if the fucking iPhone 15 can play Death Stranding and Resident Evil and shit, it can play big games, right? So why can't they just make a deal with Xbox and say, "Look, Xbox, we know you fuckers have a lot of games in your stupid library. Okay. How about I know we didn't like you at first, and I know you sued us. Okay, but we're making a deal now. How
Yeah.
about we bring Game Pass to the arcade? Or better yet, why don't they just go to fucking Epic and tell Epic, hey, look, Epic, I know you sued us and we lost a lot of money here. And because of you guys, these fuckers are putting their shit on our store now. But okay, how about we make a deal and we put Fortnite in the arcade store as a front line, as a
yeah,
fucking showcase. Like if you play Fortnite through the arcade store, you get an extra 1,000 V-Bucks.
dude. If Apple wasn't making, I mean, if it's not already the world's #1 company, I mean, it would just, that would just put them over the freaking stratosphere with
A
that.
thousand V-bucks is all they have to do. What's that? $10?
Dude, I would subscribe for life. I mean, or Ryan would, but yeah, other people would do
No.
it in a heartbeat. I'd do it with
Yeah.
like, you know,
On the other end of the spectrum, like I'm an Android user, right? And so Android has Play Pass, right? So that's their equivalent kind of. And so I have it because it's paid through my Verizon. It's a free perk with Verizon for the account that I have. And I just pulled it open, and they have some games in there. Like right now, they have Limbo is included in it, and like some major games. This is the Police is in there. Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion is in there. There's a couple, like popular titles, but they don't have much either. It's just a lot of small random,
yeah, it's a lot of kiddie
games.
stuff,
It
Mayo,
just
like in the
it
Apple
just but I just
Arcade.
can't, I still even though I have this nice
And I don't think it's
sporting
a bad
phone
thing, but
that turns into a bigger screen, the games look okay. I still don't play games on my phone. I just don't like the interface. My biggest thing is the controls and just how it works. Hooking a controller to it would work, but I don't want to sit there and prop my phone up with a controller. If I'm going to do something like that, I'm going to play on a Switch or a Steam Deck or something like that, or like I'm not just
I
going to
know
carry a
that
controller around with me. I like
Brink said because he recently got an iPhone 15 Pro, I think. He didn't get the Max. I think he just got the Pro. So he was trying to see, like, okay, like these games really run on here. I want to test them out. So I think he said he bought Resident Evil, and then he bought something else. Another big game. It was Resident Evil and something else. And he was trying to play them on his fucking phone. And he's like, dude, I can't read shit. It's like the fucking screen is
it's too
so small
small.
that you can't read what the fuck is on the screen. Like I can't read it. So he said he tried to do it to where like he could hook up his phone to his TV, right? Like with an adapter. So he bought like a USB-C to HDMI adapter or whatever. And he said that the fucking resolution on the TV was like 480p. He's like, dude,
yeah,
the resolution is
yeah.
so bad. He's like that I can't. It's like it's unplayable. He's like it's so bad that I can't even like try to play it on the TV.
it
And he's like, and on my phone I can't read it, so it's like a useless thing for me. I can't read it
It
on my
almost have
phone.
to be on a
I can't
tablet
play it
for
on
him,
TV.
like what Gunny has. At least it's a little
yeah.
Yeah,
bit
So,
like
bigger.
a
but I'll
iPad
say
Pro,
this.
right?
Yeah, so it's still hard for me to describe Jesus. It's like, okay, so I played it on the Pro, well, yeah, on the iPad Pro, and I don't know, it's so hard to describe this game. It looks jagged when I downloaded. Was it Resident Evil 4? Right, that's kind of the demo, or you can do the full purchase if you want. But I
Yeah.
don't think I would do a full purchase even on that thing. I don't know, like there was something about the resolution even being off for me wearing, uh, you know, number 2 cheater glasses trying to play it on an iPad Pro with an Xbox controller. It was just, I don't know, it looked different, weird. I didn't like it.
I think
So, and it was dark and just the lighting was off. And I don't think they did a good port to this game, or I don't think anybody should. Maybe somebody out there is like, Gunny, you're blind or whatever. This game runs great on a fucking, iPhone Pro 15 or the new iPad. I don't know. So,
I think the
you figure I've
best
got the Hertz, I've got, the
best
processor, but
play out here for them is to incorporate it in the App Store with the VR headset. Because then you could do like
yeah.
you could open it up and you could do it in your living room, and you could have a makeshift TV screen, whatever size you want, wearing the VR, and you could launch desk screening and play it in there.
There you go.
That'd
You
be
could
fun, yeah.
having that in the Apple Store, that'd be kind of cool.
$3,000. It better look
Right.
cool.
Yeah, it better be a good resolution and work cool. But yeah, I just don't like I said, for me, like any game that comes out on Apple, it could be, like I said, my favorite game, Dead Cells. Don't play it on my phone. There's nothing I play on my phone at all. Like there's just nothing I want to play because, one, I use my phone too much for other things. Like I don't want to run the battery dead because it just kills your battery running a game. And like you guys said, the text is just too small. You can't see. Or another thing is like movement in the controller, but it's like an action game and it does like a makeshift, like where you stick your thumb on the screen and that's how you move around. It feels weird and doesn't feel right, and so gotta have a controller or gotta have something that my finger is on controlling that character and not touching the screen that I'm trying to look at, and just being in the way and blocking stuff. So it's just like me, there's just no desire to play on my phone at all. Like I don't even ever open the Play Store.
I'll play mobile. I think just regular old mobile games on the phone are fine, right? They're designed for it. They're made for it. Yeah. But trying to port anything over, or even some cloud gaming, right? Depends on the game. So if it's action adventure, it works fine. Yeah, don't give me a text-based game though. I can't see it.
In
Not
other
everything runs on a
news,
Steam Deck.
let's move on to more news here. Rainbow Six Siege director believes the game does not need a sequel. As reported by PC Gamer, the Rainbow Six Siege director Alexander Karpasis has confirmed that the game will not get a sequel. While speaking at a group interview held at the Siege Invitational 2024 in Brazil, the dev noted that the title has one of the best engines in the world in PvP shooters. He iterates that the team is incredible and is responsible for improving the engine monthly to deliver content faster. He said, "The idea of switching engines to something that can be off-the-shelf ready simply doesn't answer the needs of a really competitive and demanding game like Siege. I'm not going to name names, but you see games that did go through sequels and just completely dropped the ball because they have to remake every single thing that they did in that first game." The dev clarifies that there are many complexities when creating a sequel for a title like Rainbow Six Siege. He thinks the hurdles along the way can cost a pretty penny, alongside ramping frustrations, and the result is not always confirmed to give you the desired benefits. The director uses the analogy of homework, claiming that you'll never make it exactly the same way as the original. If you know what you have to begin with and you build it up, that is where we see the success. And that is where we know we can take Siege into the future. Alexander believes that Rainbow Six Siege is a title that can, quote, last forever.
I think I say last a long time, not forever.
He says
right?
forever, Gunny. Fucking
Look at
forever,
CS:GO.
motherfucker.
That's got a new game to it now, right? After how many years?
Yeah, SCS
It
is.
can last forever, Gunny.
Maybe
He
10
said.
years. I'll give it 10. How long has it been out? Maybe 7, 6? Give it a few
It
more
can
years.
last. It can last forever.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, WoW's still going forever, but
In other news, Helldivers 2 has sold over 60% of their copies on PC. According to the head of game industry, .biz, Helldivers 2 has sold over 60% of its copies on PC so far. There's that. Yeah.
PC's growing, right, Mayo?
Yeah. I mean, it's just,
PC.
I think for the longest time, like, the PC market was, like, kind of like unique games, stuff that Jesus and I like to play, your whatever random games, your Ready or Nots, and you never had those big AAA games on PC as much as you did on your consoles, right? And now, like, all that stuff has kind of come to PC, and you get these AAA games, and now they're been coming out of the PC for a while, so then it just brought in more people. I think it's just it's just gotten more popular. I think over time because it's gotten easier. Building them has gotten easier. It's in a really good spot right now. You got Game Pass on there now, so you can access all that. Now Sony's bringing stuff over there. It's really, we keep hearing, you keep hearing like longest time, it's mobile gaming, PC gaming's dead. Nobody uses your PC for anything. But yet, a lot of people are out there building PCs yet, and
So
a lot of
yeah,
people are
I
still out
would
there
say
gaming and
for
streaming. And
what would I say, North America, or this side of the hemisphere, including Europe, right, where mobile gaming is more, over in the East, right? Like it's huge over there in Asia, humongous. I
yeah,
forgot,
and I
like the
mean,
numbers
there's a
were
lot of people
staggering
here
that Jesus
gaming
would
too,
read
but
off like.
it's just older people, it's people playing Candy Crush and stuff like that, very casual. But
Yeah.
it's just there's so many, a lot of these good games are coming to PC now. And they just run a little better and they run a little smooth, smoother, higher frame rates, and people are building their libraries over in the PC world now. And now, like I said, with Sony starting to bring their games over there, and you have an Xbox, Game Pass on there, and it's just like a central place for everything, where everything's coming together in one spot now. So it's just kind of nice. It's
Yeah,
just
I would say
people in.
I mean,
And I think
yeah,
the kids nowadays think it's cool to have a PC. I think Fortnite has a lot to do with that. Like Fortnite brought in a lot of kids into the PC market and community. Because a
Yeah.
lot of kids wanted to become streamers and playing Fortnite on the PC because
100%. Yeah.
they could play faster. They were like, "Oh, I'm watching Ninja play, and I can play like Ninja if I have a PC." Like
Right. Yes.
because he can do higher frames, so he plays better because he has higher frames. And that's not necessarily the case all the time, but yeah, you get higher frames, it's gonna look better, and it's not gonna make you play better, but you do have some control of how the games look and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it encouraged a lot of kids to come to PC, and now they're starting to get older, and they're building their libraries and stuff too, and so like it just continues to grow that market.
Yeah, for sure. I was just going to point out like where we saw Microsoft do it, where I think they started with Sea of Thieves, right? I mean, not really started, but then it came around to the Game Pass thing, and then they don't announce it, right? We just know it's already coming to Steam. Anything that's first party, right? They just automatically put it on there. How many times has EA failed on their own launcher, right? Where they're like, fine, we'll just put everything on Steam again,
Right.
So they've been back for quite a while now where everything just comes to Steam day one. Activision was kind of that last holdout, I think, personally, where they were like, no, we're going to keep it on our own launcher, right? Well, look what happened. Microsoft bought them, so everything is coming to Steam now. So everything's kind of funneling in through there. Yeah, Epic gets their, their timed exclusives.
And they do a lot. They do a lot with Ubisoft. That's they can have Ubisoft though. Like I said, we already don't know how they're managing really that well. But
okay, there's the last holdout is Ubisoft, right? So yeah. Right, where they do the thing with Epic. So
and some of their stuff is on Steam, but not as much anymore. A lot of their new releases are not on Steam. They're Epic exclusives. So
do they do the time thing?
I think it is time thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
In other news, Hasbro Inc. has reported that they've made about $90 million from Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
90 million.
Yeah, that's a chunk. I think I've seen there's like still 600,000 people playing it daily, concurrent.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy. But in other news, besides that, the Switch 2 news. Apparently, Switch 2 has now been delayed, according to a Japanese news publication. They said that originally the Nintendo Switch 2 was planned to be launched later this year, but then Nintendo has now seemingly put it past March 2025. And they said that's because they want to make sure they have enough inventory to be able to sell it worldwide at the same time. So they don't want to do like a staggered release where they only release it in Japan and America, and then they release it in other parts of the world slowly, right? So they just want to whatever.
Or if you want one, you can get one. Like we had that problem with the consoles. Here with the PS5 and the Xbox, it took forever. Could you imagine like how well like Switch 2 would do if they're just available in the stores all the time, like day one?
Yep.
Yeah.
They are gonna sell like.
Yep.
They'll sell whatever they make. I think. I mean, they're gonna.
Yep. And they got the money to make it, right? Because they got. What was it last week? We reported they had $11 billion in the bank.
And I think it's smart to wait.
Money.
Like
and
they just wait.
And I think the good thing with Nintendo is they'll definitely have like a Mario game and a
or a Zelda game.
Yeah,
right.
Or both, right?
They don't even need like a real Mario game. They just need like a Mario Kart 9.
Yeah, that's it. It'll sell 9
million. What if they decide, or maybe what if they at the time were making a new Pokemon game for it, and now because of Power World coming out, they were like, "Oh shit, we need to back this up a little bit," and maybe they're waiting for Power World to dial down a little bit too, and they're going to launch a Pokemon game with the Switch. Some kind of open world game on a new powerful Switch, because that's what's held it back before, right? Because the last couple have not played well because it's hardware limited. So what if they have some new crazy idea for Pokemon, or they're working on a new crazy idea for Pokemon, and then just release a new Switch with that? and that would drive sales, I think.
Oh, 100%. So here's the question, guys. I've been listening to this podcast, handhelds and stuff since I've got the Steam Deck, but I think the real question is to you guys is, do they release the Switch 2 already with OLED, or do they just say just HDR, the regular fucking
Yeah,
version, and then
I think
come
we
out with
heard
OLED?
it's LED right now, right? I think it's just
Yeah.
regular. I wish they would just release it with OLED, but it's probably a cost thing. So maybe
Yeah,
they're
so
trying
maybe
to
the
keep the
first year
cost
will just be
down.
LED.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it'd be nice if they just did OLED and just stayed that way, but
Right. I
it
forgot
could
what the
be.
difference on numbers cost is. Difference.
And some more news. Some Microsoft Sony news, I guess. Sea of Thieves will require you to have a Microsoft account to play the game on PS5. The information comes straight from the title's official listing on the PlayStation Store. So there's that. Since having a Microsoft account is mandatory in this instance, existing players or users looking to play Sea of Thieves on PS5 won't have to worry about loss of their progress. On the flip side, new players coming into this world from Sony's side will have to take a few minutes to sign up and make a Microsoft account.
Good.
Well, that
Yeah.
kind of makes sense, right? Because that's a multiplayer
Yeah.
game. It's going to be an online game. Most people are going to play that online. You're going to need an
Yeah.
online profile of some form, right? So, and unless they did like a PSN profile, but Microsoft has that, like, hey, yeah, you got to come to us. That's what they want, right? They want you in their ecosystem. So they want you to make an account with Microsoft. That way they kind of get you in there a little bit. They don't want you using your PSN account in their Microsoft network and it's showing up as a PlayStation player on the Xbox. If we're
Yep.
playing a multiplayer game, I don't want to. If I'm on my Xbox, I don't want to see a PlayStation player on my game. I just want to see another Microsoft
right.
player. So I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, yeah, come on over to our side and sign
You're
up.
just a gamer tag, right? Just a gamer
Create a
tag.
Microsoft account and.
In other news, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. It's been kind of a weird thing about this game because this game originally was unveiled in 2019 at the
Yeah.
Video Game Awards. And at the time, people, really praised it because, people were hyped up. And ever since then, Microsoft has always touted this game as a AAA tentpole game with full backing from Microsoft Publishing, and Microsoft Studios. But now they seem to have backed off of that. The game will now be a smaller scale, they said. They said that the gameplay will be roughly the same amount of length as the original game, and the game will not be full priced at launch. They said that the game will only be $50 at launch. And people are saying, like, okay, how the fuck is it that 4 years ago, you came out and you were talking about how this game was going to be a AAA title with the full backing of you from Xbox Publishing Studios or Microsoft Publishing Studios.
Right.
But now, 4 years later, you're backing down and you're saying, no, guys, actually, this game is more like a shorter. It's like the first game, and it's only $50.
Yeah, that's
Like, what the
concerning.
fuck?
Like
Like a double A.
I personally was excited for this game, like a better, expansive world, and then all this time they put into the game and the stuff
Yeah.
that they shown. I thought, okay, we're gonna get a good story. We're gonna get some kind of good flushed
Yeah.
out thing. That's what's been taking them so long. But now
No,
it's
Are they
kind of
telling us to
making
lower our expectations and
the
don't get
longer
too hyped for this title? What's
the
up?
longer for
they're
this game,
saying 8 hours
less hype
will
I
be the
have.
average time.
Yeah, the more I
Yeah.
was super excited for this game when I first heard them talking about it and the stuff they showed years ago. But as more and more time goes by, the closer it gets to release, the less excited I am now. Like the last
Yeah.
Xbox Direct, that was the least exciting game in there for me. And before I was like excited to see stuff on the game. And now I was like, oh, at least Indiana Jones looks good and this looks good, And I was like, okay, Hellblade 2, okay, I know it's coming out. At least it's going to be a good game we're going to have on the Xbox. And now I'm just kind of starting to, I don't want to say Redfall vibes, but like disappointment kind of is almost like creeping in there.
Now I'm starting to worry, right? Like they're going to come out and say, we're going to release the, I don't know, right? I'm not just being a Debbie Downer to say like, oh, we're going to release it at 30 fucking FPS or whatever. Or what? I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, and other news. So my last piece of news here. Microsoft is planning to unveil their own super resolution tech for PC games next month. The company will explain the technology at Game Developer Conference in San Francisco during March 21st. The talk will be focused on DirectX, the Microsoft API used across PC games. Microsoft will provide a preview into DirectSR, making it easier for game developers to scale super resolution support across Windows devices. So there's that. So, I mean, we got DLSS, we got FSR, we got Intel's XeSS, but now we're going to have Microsoft Windows Super Resolution now. The future's here.
Yeah.
Future's here. We'll hear more about it next month at GDC. And last piece of news I have for you, Mayo. If you are a NVIDIA investor, you're probably very happy right now, especially if you invested before the year 2019, because NVIDIA is now a $2 trillion company. That is correct, Gunny. You didn't hear me say one. It's $2 trillion company.
I heard that, baby. I saw that article last week and I was like, what?
NVIDIA revealed that the company's quarterly revenue from last year to this year increased by 265%.
Damn.
Noting that they made a record-breaking $60.9 billion in revenue last year. That's a 126% increase since 2022. NVIDIA's financial milestones come with no surprise. While the crypto and PC graphic cards markets have cooled, the tech giant has become the leader in AI, becoming a key chip supplier for companies looking to implement AI in some capacity. Additionally, NVIDIA will soon launch its next flagship AI chip, the HGX H200, promising more memory capacity and bandwidth, allowing it to handle massive amounts of data for generative AI. NVIDIA joins Microsoft and Apple as the three US-based companies to reach the $2 trillion market cap. Despite companies like Microsoft looking to make its own AI chips and rely less on NVIDIA, a recent report from Reuters claims that NVIDIA is working on a new $30 billion business unit that will focus on creating custom AI chips for different companies. This is crazy, man, because I've been looking at this myself. Me and Brink and IAMS were talking in 2018 about investing money, right? We were thinking about putting money in NVIDIA, we were thinking about money in AMD, and I didn't go through with it. And goddamn, the regret always comes back to me, bro.
Yeah, it does.
Because
Yeah.
when I was looking at NVIDIA in 2018, the stock was $90, dude, for one share. One share of NVIDIA would cost you $90. Right now, at this moment, NVIDIA, let's look up NVIDIA.
How much?
$90
Right now,
then.
so $90 was in back in 2019 or whatever, right? But not even. It was less than that. It was $45. Oh wow. It was $45, man. Okay, listen. If you would have bought stocks at $45 in April of 2019, right now your stock would be worth $790.
Damn.
You
Wow.
could have bought one share for $45 back in 2019. Right now, that same fucking share would be worth $790 fucking dollars. That's
Man, can you imagine
an
buying like 20
insane
shares of
amount.
that? Like, just that's not even much right at the time.
So
You're
like
thinking,
what, like 750 per shares ish, you know?
Holy fuck, dude. Say you would have bought 20 shares. You would have put $900 into this. Okay? At 20 shares. Right now, you'd have almost $16,000 off of that $900 investment.
yeah.
That is insane. But who was to predict that, right? Like, Like, who was to predict that they were the ones that are going to become the AI fucking makers? That's crazy.
You know what I got to do? I got to check my my 401k now, Jesus, because I just do like some of the the
Put
chip
it in NVIDIA,
manufacturer
man.
thing.
NVIDIA.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
People are saying that NVIDIA at this point, it's it's going up so fast, right? Because in the last year, Mayo. So last year, NVIDIA was worth, at this time last year, it was worth 232 a share. Right now, it's worth $790 a share. People are expecting it to reach about 1,500. Some analysts are saying that by the end of this year, this stock could be worth 1,500 a share. But they're saying that that's too much. That Nvidia might end up just splitting it. So they might end up saying, "Oh, we're going to split the stock or whatever." So for every share, so if you own one share, you'll now have 4 shares or 3 shares or 5 shares, right? Like a 1-to-5 split or whatever. So they're saying that that might happen just to lower the fucking cost of the shares, so more people invest into it. Because like the shares are so expensive right now, right? Like there's
Right.
so much money, right? To be able to buy one share, you're spending almost $1,000. You're spending $800. That's crazy, dude. That's
yeah. It
crazy to
is.
think. AMD stock also went up pretty high though too. AMD, from I remember back then we were looking at it too, and it was pretty high. I think back then it was higher than Nvidia at the time, I think. Maybe a little bit less. No, it was like $30. Right now, AMD is worth 176. So it did go up quite significantly, but not the numbers that Nvidia is throwing out, dude. It is crazy. I'm looking at the
Yeah.
comments on this article, and this guy said back in 2010, they bought 1,000 shares of Nvidia at $3 a piece.
Wow.
He said he sold he sold all these shares back in 2012 at a loss.
Oh.
Oh
He
wow.
sold it at a loss in 2012. He said that $3,000 investment right now would be worth $750,000.
Damn. Wow.
If he would have kept that $3,000 investment in that thing for 12 more years, he would have had $750,000, dude.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
Yeah,
insane. Yeah. Who
that's
would
like
have
the
known
people
though,
that
right? Who doesn't know the
that
future?
yeah, that's like people
Shit.
that bought Bitcoin and bought pizza with it or something back in like 2010. You know, uh, I bought a pizza with my Bitcoin, and now that fucking Bitcoin could have bought me like 100 pizzas, 1,000
Yeah.
pizzas.
Yeah.
You never know, right? I guess it's
Damn.
the way
Yeah.
it goes, man. That's crazy, but yeah, people are wondering when is it going to bust? Like, at what point is Nvidia going to be just? It's going to start going down because they're saying like this thing just never stops. It keeps going up every fucking day, Mayo. Every day it goes up. It doesn't go down.
Hmm.
I say buy now, even at whatever price it is now, right? So
That's what people are saying. People are saying like it's a strong buy. Keep buying because
yeah.
it doesn't go down. It hasn't gone down. So yeah, it hasn't gone down almost all of last year to this year. The last 2 years, it hasn't really gone down. And it's at 790. People expect it to hit like, because I think they're going to announce, like you said, like well, I read an article, right? They're going to announce that new chip for AI. And I think because of that chip, they expect it to go up to like 900 a fucking share.
Jesus,
Just because of the
I have an
announcement.
article to read here.
Yeah.
That I saw. I think it came in. This was earlier in the week. So, and I know I texted you guys, but I thought it was going to be. My first thought was like, oh, Microsoft is going to work on a handheld device like a Steam Deck or something, but I don't think so now. But here's what the article says about Microsoft will use an Intel to manufacture homegrown processors. So it says here that they've landed as a customer. It's made to order chip business, marking a key win for ambitious turnaround under the chief executive officer Pat Gelslinger. Microsoft plans to use these Intel's 18A manufacturing technology to make a forthcoming chip that the software maker designed in-house. The two companies said at an event Wednesday they didn't identify the product, but Microsoft recently announced plans for two chips, a computer processor and an artificial intelligence accelerator.
Hmm.
So, article goes on, but yeah, so curious what they're kind of doing over there. Like, will this go on the new motherboards, like going forward, or as many as possible? I think, right? When Intel, yeah,
I was just wondering, it's like
new PCs.
all this AI, man. What's it going to be used for?
Yeah, I don't know. Job replacement? I don't know.
Yeah. Besides that, like
The
what?
drive-throughs and
Fucking random shit.
yeah.
Yeah. Probably like calling. That'll replace a lot of, like you said, calling centers. Like you can call in. We talked about it last week, right? Calling up.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Melissa or something. I don't know. And how can I help you?
How can I help you today? I know your name is Gunny.
Right. And you'll just be speaking to her the whole time, right? Like, I am a customer representative. How can I? Yeah. No, a human. Yeah. Looking for.
Human pressing 0 the whole time.
Yeah.
0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Trying to get a human. But yeah, that's all we have. That's all I have for news.
All right, guys. All right. What else we got here? Anything else? Oh, over on the console corner sort of things. PlayStation, you've still got another week to get your Foam Stars, Roller Dome, and Steel Rising on the PS5. Roller Dome and Foam Stars are also on PS4. Over what's new on the Game Pass side of things, you've got Dead Island 2. So yeah, you can go get that now on Game Pass. And I want to say probably by the time you hear this, I don't know if it's going to come out sometime this week, but I think it's going to be Diablo 4, Mayo. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not
Did
sure
you
what the
hear?
date was on that, but yeah, that's coming out on Game Pass for sure.
So
They
you'll
did
get your
say that
first
during the direct.
Activision game into Game Pass. And your other Xbox Game Pass game is Bluey, the video game. I think that was a cartoon, wasn't it? Bluey? Bluey?
Yeah, I know it's a kids' cartoon show, but
Yeah, so now the video
Well-
game is out. Go play that on Game Pass.
we'll send Ryan to go out and play that one for us.
Oh,
He's got
I'm
that
sure him and
covered.
Olivia are going to be. They're
Yeah.
probably playing it right now. Yeah. He can report back on that next week. And over on the Epic Store, your free game is called Super Meat Boy Forever. I noticed I already own this, Mayo, because I bought this as soon as it came out. Yeah, I think because I know my son, I bought it for him as well. Because we really like the first one, which came out, I think it came out on the Xbox 360, the very first one. And then, yeah. So I don't know if this is the number 2 one or not, but they're both very fun platforming games. But that's all I have, guys. Go find me over on Xbox, Steam, on the Epic Store under gamertag Gunny Chief, and sometimes over on the PlayStation, PS4, HGP_Gunny. Where do they find you, Mayo?
You can find me pretty much on the PS5 and Xbox Network as the Mayo 1, Discord and Steam as well. You can pretty much be on there on Steam hanging out playing Deep Rock Galactic Survivors, I think, some more this week and grinding more through that. Hopefully maybe get a bunch more stuff unlocked.
All right. And find me on everything as Jesus Walk Slot. I'll be playing some more Helldivers, of course. And that's really all I'll be playing, honestly. If you want to play Helldivers, let's play. I'm down. Anyways, we're out of here. Hope we see you next week on the next edition of the Horrible Gamers Podcast. Hopefully my ear is healed up by then.
Yes.
This sucks. Anyways, peace out, Brussels sprouts. We'll catch you on the next edition of the Horrible Gamers Podcast. Bye.
See ya.
Game on.